and not a great look here for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Meanwhile, the Bucks have a 103-96 lead over the Pelicans at the end of the third quarter. Third quarter action from OKC. The Thunder, a 62-52 lead over the Brooklyn Nets. Finals from earlier, the Cavs defeated the Hornets 118-113. The Wizards, a 131-118 come-from-behind win over the Pacers, as the Pacers did an incredible job of tanking. The Grizzlies, a 123-114 come-from-behind win over the Jazz, as the Jazz did an incredible job of tanking. And the Heat beat the Hawks 128-97. 2 games at the top of the hour. Clippers at the Lakers, where we are playing under 19.5 for LeBron James's points. He is questionable with a knee injury, but they say he is good to go, or not good to go. He is available to play. How much will he play? I don't know. But that's why we bet unders, because there's so many different ways we can hit an under. LeBron James could play a full complement of minutes and just not be effective. He could still be fatigued from the All-Star game. He could be sore. He could just be disinterested. He could also sit out long stretches of this game. He could also start the game and then decide, you know something? I'm not feeling it. Or I tweak this a little bit and then decide to sit out the rest of the game. So many ways to hit an under. So that's why we're playing LeBron James under his points here in this game. And then your other game starting at the top of the hour as well. The Trailblazers, a 1.5-point favorite over the Denver Nuggets. And who knows? Same thing for Jokic. Like, who knows, with the Nuggets playing the second night of a back-to-back. Jokic a little bit banged up as well. Nuggets with the 115-114 loss against the Clippers last night. So this is the LA double dip for them. Different arenas, but still it's the LA double dip. And with Jokic playing on the second night of the back-to-back, you just wonder how effective he is going to be. He had 22 points with 17 boards and 6 assists yesterday. Keep in mind, Jokic can only miss one more game for the rest of the season, and then he is ineligible for postseason awards. So he can miss one more game. But if he misses 2 more games, he will not be eligible for any postseason, regular season award. So no MVP bets, no whatnot. Now, the MVP market is actually fascinating, in my opinion, because you have the favorite in SGA, who is still not back from his injury. They said that he was going to he was going to return after the All-Star break. Now it's being reevaluated after the All-Star break. Now, Shea still has a good amount of games allowed to miss before he gets to that threshold, but it's starting to creep up. With every single game that he misses here, it's starting to add up. Shea is now minus 150. Jokic is plus 320. Jokic has had the better season, arguably. Like, if you look at the player efficiency ratings, which is usually like where the MVP goes to, Jokic is number 1 in the NBA. But that being said, every MVP is usually a number 1 or a number 2 seed, with the exception of like that Russell Westbrook year, right? It always goes to like a number 1 or number 2 seed. Cade Cunningham is at plus 500. Now, that's the interesting angle. Because if the Pistons finish with the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference, and Cade continues to lead the way, 42 points at the Garden yesterday was incredible. He could be interesting if Shea misses more games and threatens the threshold, and if Jokic misses 2 more games and then he's ineligible, man, Cade Cunningham at 5-1 becomes very, very interesting as a little bit of a flyer bet for the MVP market. Now, I kind of feel the same way with the Rookie of the Year market, where the last I checked, and actually it's not even up on FanDuel right now, but Cooper Flagg was such an enormous favorite compared to Con Kneppel, and Kneppel just goes out here every single night and is continuing to set records while Cooper Flagg continues to miss basketball games. And what if we get to a point where the Mavericks decide, well, Cooper Flagg's just not going to come back, or he's going to continue to miss games? And even if he's eligible for the award because he didn't miss that many games, and he's still eligible for the award, do the voters then look at his season and say, all right, yeah, he had a great season and good numbers, but he missed a ton of games, whereas Con Kneppel's out here setting records. Most three-pointers made by a rookie. He's one of the tops in the leagues in three-pointers scored. And plus, there's an incredible stat out there, all these analytical sites that measure performance in the NBA. Estimated plus-minus is an incredible advanced analytic stat that measures just how important you are to your team when you're on the floor and when you're off the floor. And Con Kneppel is by far the most valuable player to his team on the floor this year of this rookie class. And he's one of the first players of his age to have such like a high estimated plus minus compared to, some of the other rookies. Like, he's having that great of a season. I just don't agree. Like, I'm seeing on FanDuel, Cooper Flagg minus 700, Con Kneppel plus 460. I don't see why there's that massive of a drop off for Kneppel versus Cooper Flagg. I'd actually be intrigued by Con Kneppel to win the Rookie of the Year award. In college basketball right now, as I mentioned, Purdue is blowing out Indiana. Let's see, that score right now is number 7 Purdue, an 81-53 lead with 6 minutes to go. And number 22 Miami of Ohio, a 54-40 lead over Bowling Green. Now, coming up here on Saturday, we have a Final Four preview, literally. The 4 teams that are playing each other in these marquee games are the top 4 favorites to make it to the Final Four. Number 4, Arizona taking on number 2, Houston. Houston is a 4.5-point favorite. I've already bet Houston as the 4.5-point favorite. Arizona missing some key pieces, and Houston at home after a loss. It's 14 out of their last 15 games after a loss, Houston has won. They are 14-1 in their last 15 games after a loss. That's how good this team has been. Tough game going to Ames, Iowa against Iowa State on Monday. I thought they played really well, and I was on Iowa State in that game. Got a lucky cover, but I think that this is a good opportunity for Houston to bounce back here. And then I will also fade Houston on Monday when they go to Kansas. And that's going to be the whole Bill Self Big Monday trend, where Bill Self is 40-0 at Allen Fieldhouse on Big Monday. So that is coming up on Monday night with Houston going to Kansas. But first, we bet Houston to beat Arizona here on Saturday. And then the big game in Washington, D.C. Number 3, Duke. Number 1, Michigan. It is the Edward Jones Capital Showdown, where Michigan has now taken money and is up to a 3.5-point favorite. That's right. On the early line here, Michigan was minus 2.5 against Duke. Money is coming in on Michigan, and now we are seeing some books post 3.5s for Michigan over Duke. I am interested in the under in this game. It is at 149.5. We are seeing some money come in on this total to push it to 150, 151. I'm seeing at some books. We know the public loves betting overs. We know the public loves betting favorites. But Duke is a national team. Duke is a public team. So maybe this line being it goes up to 3.5 for Michigan, which to me, come closer, guys. I'm gonna let you in on something here. Sharps bet early. The public bets late. We are 24 hours away from this game, and the line has moved towards Michigan. That signals sharp money. When this line moves back towards Duke as we get closer to tip-off, that signals public money. And so you might be better off waiting and then betting Michigan -2 or -2.5, maybe -1.5 if it moves in that direction as we get closer to tip-off on Saturday. Just so you know. But I do like the under in this game. There's great trends with top 5 teams playing against each other, with those games trending towards the under. I'm going to wait to see how high this total gets because we know the public loves betting the overs. So if the public comes in on Saturday and pushes this thing up, I'm going to go under a number, hopefully higher than 151. But it is an incredible slate of games here on your Saturday in college basketball. And we're going to have a lot of fun watching it and breaking it down. Hey, coming up next here on VSiN, it's Cashing Out with Joe Serralo. Tonight, Chris Vasily is going to share his best bets for the EPL. And then Greg Hoops Peterson is going to break down all the weekends in college basketball. Tomorrow morning, start your day with the VSiN Weekend Morning Line. At noon, it's Ready, Set, Bet, getting you ready for all the day's betting action. I will be back tomorrow night on Cashing Out as I'm going to recap all the action in college basketball and the NBA. We're going to preview the Sunday slate of NBA games, but most importantly, coming up tomorrow night, I will give you a full preview with all of my best bets for the gold medal game between the United States and Canada, which puck drops at 8:10 a.m. Eastern time on Sunday morning. I'm Scott Seidenberg, always on Twitter at Scott's On Air and at VSiN Live. You're watching Primetime right here on the Sports Betting Network.
Progressive Insurance knows pets, and one of the biggest differences between people and pets is that we don't eat things off the floor. But dogs definitely will, and it makes them so happy. No matter what it looks like, smells like, or what state of decomposition it's in, we all want to go through life that carefree. And that's also why you should get Progressive Pet Insurance, because they eat things off the floor. So protect your pet from all the questionable life decisions they make. You know where they drink from when you're gone, right? Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Covered subject to policy terms and conditions.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
If you're only good to your new friends, you're not going to have any old ones. Straight Talk gets it. That's why new and existing customers get free 5G phones on Verizon's 5G network. Pretty simple, really. You keep good people by being good people.
Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always.
From Feature Story News in San Francisco, I'm Ira Spitzer. The U.S. Supreme Court has ruled that President Trump's sweeping tariffs on global trading partners are illegal. In a 6-3 ruling, the court determined that the tariffs didn't have the proper authorization from Congress. FSN's Nick Harper reports from Washington.
This ruling is a tremendous blow for the US president and a rare rebuke of his presidential powers. 6 out of the 9 justices saying that they did not believe he had the legal authority to impose tariffs, instead saying that he must have congressional authorization to exercise this power. They said that he had tried to assert extraordinary power to unilaterally impose tariffs of unlimited amount, duration and scope. He has reacted by calling the ruling a disgrace, but also saying he has a backup plan. It is likely the White House will look for other ways to reimpose these tariffs using other means. But for companies and consumers, this could mean refunds totaling hundreds of billions of dollars as they look to claw back the costs that they've had to pay over the last year as a result of Donald Trump's tariffs. I'm Nick Harper in Washington.
The U.S. economy grew at a 1.4% annual rate in the final quarter of the year, below expectations, even factoring in the 6-week government shutdown that sharply cut federal spending. Consumer spending continued to help drive growth, but cooled from earlier in the year as households dipped into savings and pulled back on big-ticket purchases. Business investment remained a bright spot, driven by continued spending on AI and software. Housing weighed on activity amid high borrowing costs, while inflation remains a persistent concern. Tight security is planned at a rally for a right-wing activist who was killed in an attack in the French city of Lyon earlier in February. Quentin Duranc died after sustaining a severe brain injury when he was attacked on the sidelines of a far-right protest against a left-wing politician. FSN's Ross Cullen reports.
French police will be out in force at a march this weekend for the far-right activist whose fatal beating has been blamed on the hard left, and the incident has inflamed tensions in French politics. The 23-year-old was part of a group providing security for nationalist activists who were demonstrating against a leftist gathering at a university in France's third biggest city of Lyon. Video footage of the attack shows a group of people setting upon Quentin Duranc, who is kicked multiple times before being left lying on the sidewalk while those involved fled on foot. So far, police have arrested 11 people as part of the investigation into the attack.
From Bureaus Worldwide, this is FSN.
This is VSiN, the sports betting network. This is Cashing Out on VSiN, the sports betting network.
All right, let's have some fun. It is a special Friday night edition of Cashing Out with me, Joe Serralo, back in the saddle with you for the next 3 hours. And we've got a busy show on tap for you all tonight. We've got the conclusion of a lot of college hoops right now. How about a tie game, Merrimack and Siena? I'm sweating it out. I'm sure you are too. 64 apiece, 55 seconds left on Merrimack's home court. they would win the MAAC, the MAC with two A's, regular season title outright with a win in this one here tonight. 14-2 thus far in conference play. They could lock up that 1 seed for the conference tournament. And what a bucket from Siena. It looks like we're going to need overtime to get home on Merrimack minus 3.5. And this was, I would say, quite the frustrating final minute and a half or so of action that's gotten us here, where the Siena Saints now lead by 2. Merrimack was up 3, have them laying 3 and a hook. And they had the ball, missed the shot, offensive board, second chance, miss it, offensive board, third chance, miss it. And that opened the door for Siena to go on a little 5-0 run, go from being down 3 to up 2. Merrimack tied it. The Saints with a big bucket right there. So they lead by 2 with just about 35 seconds left and a stoppage in the action. A lot of great college hoops here on a pretty light Friday night slate. The games have been exciting. First off, Purdue running Indiana out of the gym. They're up 30, 89-59. Revenge spot in West Lafayette there for the Boilermakers after they lost outright in Bloomington just a few weeks ago. So 2.5 minutes left in that one. Purdue up 30. Miami, Ohio up 11 over Bowling Green. They were laying, it opened 7 and a hook, closed at 8.5. So Bowling Green, the Falcons, plenty of time left there, 13 minutes to go. They've just cut it to an 8-point game. So that cover could certainly go either way. I actually parlayed this Merrimack minus 3.5 play with Miami, Ohio money line, as Merrimack will be going to the line. They took that thing to the rack, did not waste any time, and they get fouled with 26.5 seconds left. Chance to tie the game if they hit both. So instead of playing Merrimack minus 3.5, laying 15 cents, I added Miami, Ohio, the undefeated Redhawks money line on their home court on a Friday night. And that boosted the value from minus 115 to plus 135. 2-leg parlay, keep it short and sweet. That's my only play here on a Friday night. I mentioned the light slate over in my alma mater's conference. Y'all know I'm a St. Bonaventure Bonnie. 8-10 action on a Friday night. How about St. Louis VCU? I mean, this game was absolutely ridiculous. The Billikens coming off their first loss since a non-con game against Stanford. Their only loss in conference play last time out in Kingston, Rhode Island at the hands of the Rams. They returned to their home court Friday night, nationally televised game against VCU, another Rams team like Rhode Island. VCU, the second best team in Atlantic 10 play right now, as Merrimack hits a pair and we're knotted up at 66. St. Louis was going down on their home court. They found themselves with 12.5 minutes to go. Down, mind you, they were 7.5-point favorites. 57-49, VCU led with 12.5 to go. How did the Billikens respond? A 21-2 run in 5 minutes, and they found themselves up 70-59, and ultimately winners 88-75 on their home court. So St. Louis not only pulls off the comeback victory, but covers with about 5 points to spare at home against VCU, ending that game on a 39-18 run, more than doubling VCU's point total in the final 12 minutes of action to win and cover. There was a brawl that ensued as the buzzer sounded at the end. It looked like VCU initiated contact. I don't know why. You're down 13. Guy chucked up like a half-court shot, leaned into the St. Louis Billiken. Then a VCU player came in out of nowhere and shoved someone to the floor, and the benches cleared. Just really trashy stuff out of VCU, it looked like, as the game ended. A couple of VCU Rams had to get held back, one by a teammate, one by an official. Just poor leadership there in an undoubtedly emotional game. A game that could certainly be a rematch on Selection Sunday, right? The Atlantic 10 plays their championship game on Selection Sunday. This year it'll be in Pittsburgh. Would not shock me if we get St. Louis and VCU all over again in Pittsburgh on Sunday, March 15th. How about that? We're just, 23 days out from Selection Sunday. That's why VSiN's got me in the driver's seat right now. College hoops, it's my forte. And we are gearing up 3 weeks and 2 days from now. we will know what the field of 68 looks like, and I can't wait. This is going to be such a college hoops heavy show. Why don't we take a look at the terrific guest list that we've assembled for this one tonight? It's your favorite segment. It's my favorite segment. In less than 30 minutes, we're running it back. Father Knows Bets with my dad, George Serralo, coming up 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific. And then hours 2 and 3 are going to fly by with the guests that we've got. We're going to talk NFL futures with our pal CJ Sullivan from the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. We're going to break down some MLB futures. Every team, I believe, has officially started spring training. Pete Alonso went deep this morning. I lost a piece of my soul the second he did it. Angelo Maglioka, my buddy from Sportsline, going to join us. Then Wes Reynolds, fresh off of seeing his Hoosiers, unfortunately, get their doors blown off in West Lafayette. He's going to join the program late hour 2. We'll take a little drive right up the road from me here in West LA to the Riv and preview Saturday and Sunday action over at the Genesis Invitational. And then it wouldn't be a college hoops spectacular without Greg Hoops Peterson, hour 3, joining the program. So a phenomenal guest list assembled in this one. And hey, did I mention MLB futures would be coming up? How about the terrific MLB betting guide that we have just put out here on VSiN? Our incredible managing editor, Adam Burke, did a sensational job with the MLB betting guide. That is out now. Jensen Lewis, our closer, had some terrific insights in there, folks. Baseball season's here, so you do not want to go into it unprepared. You're going to get in-depth previews for all 30 teams with this betting guide. You'll get a deep dive into whether or not money can really buy happiness and championships. MVP and Cy Young breakdowns, expert betting insights, and more. You can download the guide now a la carte for just $19.99, or of course become a VSiN Pro subscriber. Get the guide included with daily best bets, betting splits, and 24/7 video on the VSiN Watch app. Just go to vsin.com/guide. That's VSIN.com/guide, our incredible VSiN MLB betting guide. How about this Merrimack Siena game? We've got overtime in the MAAC. Merrimack now up 69-66. I believe that the over has hit because of overtime, if I'm not mistaken. And Rick, feel free, our incredible producer, to throw it in my ear if I'm off. But I thought I saw 132 and a hook, which would have meant that the first point of overtime got this game over. Merrimack's been a terrific under team. Part of the reason I laid 3 and a hook with them was because in their last 5 games, they are among the leaders in the nation in terms of both defensive rating and opponent effective field goal percentage. Effective field goal percentage, of course, accounts for the extra point you get from threes. Merrimack limiting the opposition better than anyone over their last 5 games. That's out of a field of 365 right there. So this Merrimack team has been sensational. Rick informs me that the total closed at 133, so the first point of overtime would have been a push. With that said, the first bucket was a triple. So we are at the over. I'm glad I stayed away from the under. And what is this, a loose ball? Siena comes away with it after a block. Are they going to get a trip to the free throw line? It looks like they will. Started out as great defense for Merrimack, turned into a foul, and now Siena's big is going to head to the stripe with 3:18 to go. Man, a guy got blocked. He got his own block back. Slightly loose ball there, was fighting for it. Oh, the Merrimack big who blocked it had the ball in his hands and just couldn't secure it. Ends up fouling Siena. So a trip to the line for the Saints will ensue. 69-66. If you're sweating it out with me, I commend you. It means you follow me on Twitter at @TheJoeSerralo. It's where I gave it out this morning. Make sure you head over there now. Tweet at the show at @TheJoeSerralo on Twitter. Hashtag cashing out. I want your questions for a loaded Saturday in college basketball. I want your best bets for Saturday. Best tweets will get read on air. Worst tweets, well, if they're funny, they'll get read on air as well. Instagram at Joe Serralo, of course. You're going to get special betting insights there additionally to Twitter. But that's where we gave this one out earlier this morning. Merrimack -3.5. Miami, Ohio, money line. It's 1 free throw for the Saints. Second one, no good. It's a 2-point game. Merrimack leads it. 3 minutes to go. A lot of time here. If they can keep a lead and get some free throw opportunities late, I'll feel a lot better about those 3.5 points I laid. Speed round around the association. The Wizards playing host to the Pacers. They got there 131 to 118. They were laying 1.5. It opened Indiana, slight favorites, closed Washington favorites, so they win and cover. Memphis, a 9-point win at home against the Utah Jazz in southwestern Tennessee. They were laying 2 and a hook, so they cover as well. And Siena has tied it up. Not ideal. Miami, massive win in Atlanta, 128 to 97, 31-point win as they fight for that Southeast Division title with the Orlando Magic. Great guests, great college hoops, great show. It's all ahead. Don't go anywhere. Merrimack and Siena. Will this 3 go for Merrimack? It will. They lead by 3. 2 minutes left. Will we have a winner on the other side? It's Cashing Out with Joe Ciralo.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $40 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $18 a month, a savings of nearly $300 a year.
Whether you need a $100,000 policy or a $10 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance. In a hurry? Don't worry. With SelectQuote, you can get up to $2 million in instant, affordable same-day coverage with no medical exam.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-637-9116. That's 1-800-637-9116. Or go to SelectQuote.com. That's 1-800-637-9116.
Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-960-30...
Here's a look at your weather forecast, powered by weatherology.com. Chance of snow tonight, otherwise cloudy skies. Lows dip down to around 15, northerly winds around 5 miles per hour. Overcast skies tomorrow, highs level off around 38. Mainly clear tomorrow night, lows level off around 14. Low 30s Sunday, warmer on Monday with highs in the upper 30s. A dusting of snow tonight. And that's your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Fromley. Currently, it's 20 degrees.
Rev up your energy and fuel your body with the protein punch you've been craving. When it comes to nutrition, Highland Dairy has a wide range of locally made products. Discover tasty ways to a stronger, healthier you with Highland's range of yogurts, smoothies, flavored milk, and cottage cheese. For parents with picky eaters and trendsetters looking to jump on the revival of cottage cheese, Highland has what you need to hit your protein goals. Highland, locally made, naturally delicious.
Welcome back to Cashing Out here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
There is no shortage of action on a Friday night when I'm involved. It's Cashing Out, a special edition of the program with me, Joe Ciralo, taking you through your Friday evening, through the conclusion of this Merrimack-Siena game in the MAC with 2 A's. How about the Warriors? Merrimack, they had to fight down 2 to tie it and send it to OT. They got the defensive stand as regulation expired. And now with 39 seconds left. A big corner three for the Warriors has Merrimack up 5. A chance to not only win, but more importantly, cover, because you folks know good teams win, great teams cover. Merrimack minus 3.5. I gave it out this morning at the Joe Serralo on Twitter, parlayed with the Miami, Ohio Redhawks money line because it was minus 115, laying the 3 and a hook. I wanted to up the value. Miami, Ohio, they were 8.5 point favorites. I didn't love the number. They're up 10 with 7 minutes to go. So I add them money line, and we've got a plus 135 short and sweet 2-leg parlay here. Sienna's got the ball. Let's dial in. Need some defense here for a Merrimack team that in their last 5 games is number 1 in the nation in defensive rating, and it proves true with a big steal here. 20 seconds left. They're fouled. They're headed to the line on the right side of this 3.5 number. It is still a 1-1, but that is why we bet the Warriors, ladies and gentlemen. Last 5 games, number 1 team nationally in defensive rating, number 1 team nationally in opponent effective field goal percentage. It's why they're 14-2 in conference play. It's why if they can dictate the pace, they will, I predict, be one of the peskiest, I'll call them a 15 seed in the field. That'll be announced in 23 days. Selection Sunday, March 15th. You have to factor in what conference they're coming from, right? They're in the MAC with 2 A's. I can't see them getting a 12, a 13, or, maybe even a 14. But I could see this team being a damn pesky 15 seed because they run a slow pace. They play terrific defense. They hit their free throws. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, these college kids usually can't buy free throws. Merrimack's out here hitting them like it's their day job, up 77-70, 7-point lead here. Even if Siena drained a 3, we'd still be on the right side with free throws more likely than not ensuing. So what will Siena do? They'll go into the paint for a dunk. They kill 8 seconds. It's a 5-point game with 12.5 to go. I like it. It's not over. It's far from over. But Merrimack will be shooting 2 as long as they inbound it cleanly. So we don't have to worry about a 1-1. I mean, it's still, they still have to hit both for us to feel confident, right? They're up 5, so if they hit 1, Siena can cover on the hook with a 3. It ain't over yet. They're hitting free throws. Thank whoever you believe in, whatever you believe in. They're hitting their free throws. But we'll see if Merrimack can close out this game still far from over with 12.5 seconds to go. How about NBA action about to get underway? Or it looks like it just has. The Lakers. They were 7.5 point favorites at home, down the road for me, downtown LA, Crypto Arena, hosting the Clippers, who are on a back-to-back. So the Lakers laying 7.5. The Clippers in 80 seconds are up to a 5-0 lead already. You want to talk about early scoring? The Nuggets also on a back-to-back. Minus 1.5 in Portland. And the Blazers, 2.5 minutes in, lead that one 10-7. If you had the over, you've got to be salivating. 17 points in 150 seconds. Oklahoma City up 88-73 over the Nets. They're at home. The Thunder are 15-point lead, 8 to go. They were laying 15.5. No SGA, no Jalen Williams with a Y for Oklahoma City. Also, no Nick Claxton, the ferocious big man for Brooklyn. So that game hovering right around the number. Talk about an ugly number, an ugly game. Can we call it what it is? 2 ugly teams? I mean, the Thunder going into the All-Star break, 7-7 in their last 14 games. I do not think the Thunder are going to repeat. I do not think the Thunder are going to go back to the NBA Finals. Merrimack's first free throw is true, by the way, with 11 seconds left. They lead the Saints by 6. 11.1. An angel number on the board. Do I have angels on my side here? Can Merrimack hit this? I've been talking about it. I don't want to jinx it. They're up 6. We need this 7-point cushion. We've got this 7-point cushion, ladies and gents. This team is composed. They are true at the free throw line. And I absolutely love the fight I'm seeing out of the Merrimack Warriors. Up 7, 11 seconds to go. Siena can hit a buzzer-beating 3, and it'll be no problem. They chuck one up. That was off balance. It rims out. It was ugly. Guys go flying to the floor. No foul gets called. Siena's going to get the last shot of the game. I don't even know if he got it off. It's no good. We win. We cover. It's a beautiful day. How about that finish? In overtime, Merrimack wins by 7. The Warriors, their second season in the MAAC Conference, the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference, they have won at least a share, guaranteed, of the regular season title. That is how we do it. Miami, Ohio still has to win outright. They were up 10 last I checked with about 7 to go. So fortunately, didn't play the number there, just added them money line as kind of a safety measure leg to Merrimack. Bumped up that value from minus 115 to plus 135. Let's check in on that game and see where we're at. Looks like, oh man, what a run from the Red Hawks. Is that a 17-point lead? Wow. Last time we checked in, Miami, Ohio was up 69-59. A 10-point lead. The number was 8.5. It certainly seemed like the cover could go either way, but they were in good shape to win. 2 minutes later, as Bowling Green throws down a flush, Miami goes on a 10-5 run in the last 2 minutes. They're up 15 with 4 minutes to go. I know we should never do this in gambling. I'm going to do it. Miami, Ohio is going to win this game. We are going to hit our parlay. And that's why they have me here on a Friday night, 23 days away from Selection Sunday. Stop me if you heard that one before. Reminder around the rest of college basketball. We had a ridiculous finish in St. Louis. That VCU St. Louis game, the Rams led by 8 with 12.5 to go. The Billikens go on an absurd run, a 20-2 run in 5 minutes. And they never looked back, not only coming back to win the game outright, but to cover the 7.5 that they were laying with a 13-point win at home to bounce back beautifully from that fade spot on the road at Rhode Island, their first loss in conference play. Interesting results in the Horizon League. Detroit Mercy gets the winning cover at home against Milwaukee. But how about Green Bay at Oakland, an Oakland team that beat Green Bay by double digits on the road earlier this season? Well, Green Bay goes in there, and this was a number that immediately stood out to me. To Doug Gottlieb and company's credit, he has really turned that program around this year. But while they were catching 6.5, and it was enticing, and it was juicy, and I wanted to pounce on it, there was no Doug Gottlieb serving a suspension out for this contest, and that ultimately is why I stayed away. Well, to Wisconsin Green Bay's credit, they said, forget the 6.5 points. We'll win the game outright. 73-68. They win on the road as big dogs at Oakland. The only major conference action, Purdue, a near 30-point win against Indiana. A revenge spot for the Boilermakers in West Lafayette. They beat the Hoosiers big, 93-64. Bounce back for Purdue, coming off that bad home loss to Michigan, the top-ranked Wolverines. A Wolverines team we are going to talk about at length as this program continues, because tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, they meet Duke in our nation's capital for potentially a Final Four preview. Non-conference top 5 action in late February. Somebody pinch me. I can't wait for Michigan, Duke in DC on Saturday. You know what else I can't wait for? Baseball season. It is right around the corner. And if you're betting baseball, don't step up to the dish unprepared. The new VSiN MLB betting guide is out now. And folks, it's your playbook for the entire season. And it is a marathon, not a sprint. This guide has in-depth previews for all 30 teams, a deep dive into whether money can really buy championships, and of course, happiness. MVP and Cy Young Awards analysis, a complete stats glossary and key terms to know, plus expert betting insight from our closer. You know him. Every day, VSiN by the books. You wake up with him. Jensen Lewis breaks it all down for you. So you can download the guide a la carte for just $19.99 or become a VSiN Pro subscriber and get the guide included along with all the other good stuff. Daily best bets, real-time splits, AI-powered prop tools, and more. Just go to VSiN.com/guide. That's VSIN.com/guide. I can't wait for the next segment. You know him. You love him. It's your favorite segment. It may be your favorite Serralo. George Serralo joins us. It's another edition of Father Knows Bets. Last time we did this, he went 3-2. I went 3-0, not to brag. We'll see if he can best me this week. It's Cashing Out. I'm Joe Serralo. You're locked into VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code TURBO to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code TURBO for a 25 cents per gallon.
Cybersecurity is a fundamental component of today's business operations. It's not just an add-on. It's essential for business protection. At Hamilton Business Technologies, we know that cyber threats are always changing and require constant vigilance. That's why our team delivers real-time threat monitoring and advanced security protocols to safeguard your data and reputation. As the official business IT partner of the Huskers, we put security at the forefront of your success. Cybersecurity is business. Hamilton is business. Connect with us at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Extreme Sports, the ultimate destination for sports enthusiasts.
This is the greatest record in the history of sports.
Broadcasting live 24/7.
Just have some fun out here, and enjoy the journey of all this of trying to get 16 wins and going after a gold trophy.
We give the people what they want.
And I am a huge sports fan. I love sports.
When it comes to your business running efficiently day to day, you rely on technology and a network that is secure, fast, and has measures in place to help prevent downtime. At Hamilton Business Technologies, we know firsthand that reliability is business. We work with businesses across the state to implement managed IT solutions that keep your business running securely. As the official business IT partner of the Huskers, we're focused on providing custom solutions that set you up for success now and in the future. Reliability is business. Hamilton is business. Connect with us today at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Need a power boost after a serious workout? Stick with the original recovery drink. Highland Dairy's chocolate milk contains 13 essential nutrients, including protein and electrolytes, helping you build muscle and hydrate better than water. Our Chocolicious milk is perfect for building healthy bones in little ones and maintaining bone health in adults. It's chocolate milk with no artificial growth hormones, and it's locally made, so you know you're getting the best for your body. Highland, locally made, naturally delicious.
Since 1946, Cully Pipe and Steel continues to meet the pipe and steel needs of greater Nebraska and Kansas. Cully Pipe and Steel is a one-stop shop for all of your pipe and steel needs. Cully Pipe and Steel stocks a wide variety of steel and plumbing products, from custom steel products to structural steel, rebar fabrication, steel fabrications, and retail and wholesale plumbing parts and fixtures. Remember, Cully Pipe and Steel of Hastings. They're located at 405 West South Street and the plumbing showroom at 300 South Colorado in Hastings.
Did you know that one of the most important financial protections that you can provide for your family is to have a will? Stellick Law Firm in Grand Island can help you provide and make your last wishes known when your family is at its most vulnerable time. Call Stellick Law Firm today to get your estate plan completed. Stellick Law Firm is located in Grand Island, and you may call us at 308-675-4035 to get your estate plan started today. Stellick Law Firm. Let us be your voice.
4 p.m. Eastern, right here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Welcome back to Cashing Out here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Back here on Cashing Out on a Friday night with me, Joe Serralo. And the only thing better than spending your Friday night with one Serralo is spending it with two Serralos. So let's get to it on the Progressive Guest Line. It is time for your favorite segment, Father Knows Bets, with my dad, George Serralo, joining the show. Pops, I know you were locked into that Merrimack game first off, thank you. I heard you canceled the date to be here tonight. We appreciate that. Not just myself, but all the viewers as well. What were your thoughts on that Merrimack Sienna sweat out we just lived through?
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. First off, I got a couple of bumblers who are a little upset with you, but don't worry about that because Merrimack has the nerve to cover beating a team by 7 points in overtime, -3.5. I thought you were dead in the water. And it was a shame because the Redhawks in Miami, Ohio are pulling away. What a great pullout. But right now, you're on a streak. You're on a rocket ship. I got to tell you a quick story. I ran into an old friend of mine, my buddy in the back of the candy store that I used to play with. Okay? And I told him what you were doing and the streak you were on. He goes, "Oh, what's your boy's first name?" I said, Nostra friggin' Damas. That's his name. He's predicting everything right now.
That's what it's feeling like lately on this hot streak.
Yeah, 6-0 on the Super Bowl. Still, the Travion Henderson prop is still the most incredible. It takes him 2 receptions to get to over a half yard. Okay, and then 3-0 last week when I go 3-2. I was 5-2 my last 2 visits ago, 3-2 last visit, and I feel like a slacker.
Well, what does that make you? 8-4 your last 12? We've got 6 on the docket here. Let's see if we can continue. Let's dive in. Florida, Ole Miss, bright and early. You know, I have a rule, and I know I've shared this rule with you. I don't like road favorites in that noon Eastern window. This might be an exception to the rule. What are your thoughts here with the Gators and the Rebels?
Well, you're 1,000% correct on that. But right now, those Gators, they're hot as hell. Okay? As an away favorite, they're 5-1. Yeah. As a conference favorite, they're 9-4. Ole Miss right now is just old. Home dog, Ole Miss 0-3. Conference 6-7. All these numbers, by the way, are against the spread. That's all I concern myself with. At home, they are 3-9 against the spread. Florida has covered 9 of their last 12. Ole Miss has not covered 4 of their last 5. They've covered 1 game their last 5. You got to go with those hot Gators. They control the boards. They're shooting. Boogie Flan, hot as hell. I mean, the Gators, I hate laying this kind of wood. You know me.
Yeah.
But there's no doubt.
I know.
13.5. You got to go with the Gators.
You know, it's crazy because you hate laying double-digit favorites. I know your motto that you've instilled in me is when in doubt, take the points. But you look at this Saturday card, and there's a couple spots where it's like, do we just have to lay it? Take us to Lawrence, Kansas, the Jayhawks, the Cincinnati Bearcats. Is this another spot where you just have no choice but to lay it?
Again, Kansas in conference covers against the spread. Their record's 9-4. As a home favorite, they're 6-3. As a favorite, Kansas is 12-5. Cincinnati as an underdog, 3-5. In conference, 6-7. I mean, you know, after the whooping that Kansas took, Self is now gone public with his doubts on Peterson. We can get into that later if you wish. You know how I feel. Okay? So my thought is Peterson needs to come out tomorrow and put up a 40 burger.
Yeah, man. I like that thought process.
Yeah. You know?
Absolutely. Let's stay right there in the Big 12 because we were talking about Florida. This is a team you and I are both high on. I said it right here on VSiN a week ago. I've got the Gators 15-1 to win the national championship in pocket. I also, earlier this week, took a flyer on one other team to win it all. Now, I want to clarify, the Michigan Wolverines are the rightful favorites. I just don't like it at 3-1. I don't see any value there. But the other team, in addition to Michigan and Florida, that I see value with, the Houston Cougars. I got them at plus 850. They are laying 4.5 at home to Arizona. Which side are you on there in that Big 12 tilt?
Well, Joe, you know how we both feel about Cougars. We think nothing wrong with a good Cougar, right?
Listed under hobbies of mine. Absolutely.
Yeah. So against Iowa State Monday night, the Cougars are up 10 points at the 7-minute mark. And then I guess someone called the Houston Cougar bat line and said one of the players on the court's girlfriend was pregnant, because all of a sudden there's no offense. They scurry off the court and they end up losing the game by 3. And I go 3-2 instead of 4-1 because of the hook. You know how
I went 3-0 because I had Iowa State. Just saying.
Just because you're on a streak that's unheard of right now. You're riding Haley's Comet. Nothing can stop you. Okay? So, the Cougars, minus 4.5. Home favorite, 8-5. Conference, 8-5. Again, all these numbers I'm throwing out are against the spread. Arizona as an underdog, 2-0. As an away team, 4-3. As a conference player, 7-6. Okay? But here's the factor that makes me go Cougars minus 4.5. No Pete. 14 points and 5 rebounds out of Dodge. And let's face it, the Wildcats, last couple of games, they don't look so dangerous, do they? Got to go with the Cougars at home. Sampson on the rebound.
Tommy Lloyd has never made it past the Sweet 16. You know, I have some serious doubts about this Arizona team. Even when they were ranked number 1 a week ago, I was not fully bought in for them come March. And now with this little losing streak that they're on, 2 out of their last 3, I am extra not bought in. I like this Houston team a lot. I don't know if I can get there on laying that number, but obviously I've got confidence in Kelvin Sampson, a guy who we both absolutely love, and his team. I mean, if they had Kingston Fleming a year ago, Houston's the reigning national championship team, not Florida. You know, the way that they blew that game was unfortunate. Fleming gives a team that's identity on an annual basis is defense first. He gives them offense his freshman year to the tune of 39% from deep. It is a beautiful thing to watch. Let's stay in the state of Texas, but go mid-major to the Southland Conference. Stephen F. Austin has been a cash cow this year. I'm a little hesitant to lay 13.5 with them against Nichols, because while they've been covering machines as double-digit favorites, they are just 2-2 against the spread. Final minute 30 of the segment here. What's your call on Stephen F. Austin against Nichols?
Just like I told you when you were a little kid, son, don't be afraid. The books are daring us. Stephen Austin, 20-5 against the number. In conference, 15-3. Home favorite, 8-2. 5 of the last 6. Nichols, 11-15 against the spread. Conference 9-9. Away dog 7-7. Covered 3 of the last 11. Stephen Austin minus 13.5. Let's go.
I love it. Laying it with the Lumberjacks, the most profitable team in college basketball this season. Pops, you got 30 seconds if you want to address this Utah-UCF Big 12 matchup as well with a home dog in the Utes.
Yeah, well, you got to take the Utes plus 1.5. Underdogs 12-4. Home dog 3-1. Conference 9-4. UCF away 3-4. As a favorite 4-8. You got to take the Utes. Your Honor, the Utes plus 1.5.
I'm glad you said it, because if you didn't, I was going to go there. From Joe Pesci to George Sorallo, take the Utes, Your Honor. Great stuff, Pops. Appreciate the time. Thanks for hopping on.
Have a great night. Keep up the good work.
That's George Sorallo. Father knows bets, and straight out of my cousin Vinny, he's rocking with the Utes, Your Honor. It's Kansas laying the points. Florida, Stephen F. Austin, all minus the points. Houston at home. East Texas A&M. He didn't get to that one. Another Southland Conference matchup there. And then the home dogs, the Utah Utes. Cashing Out continues with me, Joe Serralo, up next. A lot of best bets on Saturday to get to.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-307-0189 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-307-0189. That's 800-307-0189. What do you have to lose? Call 800.
Here's a look at your weather forecast, powered by weatherology.com. Chance of snow tonight, otherwise cloudy skies. Lows dip down to around 15, northerly winds around 5 miles per hour. Overcast skies tomorrow, highs level off around 38. Mainly clear tomorrow night, lows level off around 14. Low 30s Sunday, warmer on Monday with highs in the upper 30s. A dusting of snow tonight. And that's your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Fromley. Currently, it's 20 degrees.
Physical Therapy and Sports Rehab, 207 South Burlington, is the place for all your rehabilitation needs. PTSR offers a wide variety of services, including orthopedic, neurological, and sports injury rehabilitation. A certified hand specialist is available for the more delicate upper extremity injuries. Warm, aquatic therapy, and balance training is also available. PTSR has a strong industrial services division, providing physical and functional capacity testing, as well as drug and alcohol screening. Please visit our website, ptsrhastings.com.
Experience the Landmark difference with the next level of dealer support. Landmark, your local John Deere dealer, continually works to have parts on hand the first time you walk in the door. Our internal route system means we can get the parts to you typically same or next day to keep you up and running. At Landmark, we understand time is money. Get more uptime with our after-hours parts and service support on the phone or in the field. Stop by your local Landmark today to experience the Landmark difference.
Imagine starting your day with a computer glitch that leaves you feeling stuck, frustrated, and unable to get your work done. You have 1,000,001 things to get done today, and waiting for the tech issue to solve itself isn't one of them. It's time to let Hamilton handle the tech so you don't have to. We help businesses across the state spend more time on what they do best and less time frustrated with office technology. As the official business IT partner of the Huskers, we're focused on providing custom solutions that set you up for success now and in the future. Connect with us today at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Have you or a loved one been injured in a motor vehicle accident? Hi, I'm Mitch Stellick from Stellick Law Firm in Grand Island, and we specialize in personal injury law. Let Stellick Law Firm assist you in making sure that you and your family are taken care of following a motor vehicle accident. Call us today at 308-675-4035 to schedule your appointment. Let us be your voice.
5 Points Bank has been your hometown bank for over 40 years, and now you can take us wherever you go. Mobile Deposit allows you to deposit checks from your smartphone or tablet with our free business banking app. And never pay for an ATM charge again with our MoneyPass app. It maps out ATMs near you that won't charge a fee because of its partnership with 5 Points Bank. We're here to serve you in person and online, and that's why we're the better bank.
Out here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Cashing Out continues with me, Joe Serralo, here on a Friday night. We've got loads to get to. How about the college hoops action tonight? I believe we've gone final. We just have in Oxford, Ohio, the Miami, Ohio Redhawks not only winning, but once again covering a 91-77 14-point demolition of the Bowling Green Falcons on their home court. The 22nd ranked Redhawks bound to move up in the rankings. They improved to 27-0. I don't care what happens, folks. Put them in the tournament no matter what goes on the rest of the way. This team is so legit, and their ATS record speaks to that, covering at a 69% clip in conference play, entering today now 10-4 against the number in conference play. Even better on the season as a whole when you factor in their non-con record. Miami, Ohio, one of the most profitable teams in the country. I mean, these Redhawks have been absolutely sensational to bet on this year. You know who else has been sensational? Merrimack, 12-3-1 prior to tonight's winning cover against Siena. Now 13-3-1 against the number in conference play. We laid 3.5 with Merrimack. We didn't with Miami, Ohio. We added a money line, and that is how we cash out on a plus 135 two-leg parlay. The only bet we placed here on a Friday night. By the way, a lot of people have a lot of opinions on parlays, and they're a sucker bet, and it's what frat boys do. You know what separates me from Chad at the Phi Delta whatever frat house? I actually hit my parlays. That's the difference between me and the stereotypical frat boy placing parlays on a Friday night. A, I don't say we're cooking. B, I don't call my girl after and tell her about the vacation we could have almost taken if my last two legs hit. And C, I actually hit them. I keep them short, sweet, methodical, 2 legs, 3 legs. I'm not looking for the 40-1 nuke, all right? I'm looking to plant some seeds. I'm looking for plus 135 here, plus 250 here. Hey, I'm the same guy, and if you follow me on Twitter at @VJoeSoralo, as you should, I'm the same guy who the Tuesday night before Super Bowl Sunday, when I was driving up to San Francisco, placed a 10-legger plus 450. Like I said, not astronomical odds, but placed a 10-leg plus 450 parlay, and we hit it. So that's what separates me from maybe your preconceived notions about parlays. We'll break a lot of preconceived notions here on the show. You stick with me long enough. But baseball season right around the corner. I want to dive in. Now we are done with college hoops for the night. Every game is in the books. We've got some NBA action going on live. We'll keep you updated on that. In fact, we'll do so right now. Lakers Clippers down the road from me. The Clippers jumped out to a quick lead early. The Lakers are pouring it on now. 46-34. The second quarter only just began. And the Lakers, who were laying 7.5, are already up a dozen. Denver, also a high-scoring game. Second quarter just underway in Portland. The Nuggets, who were short favorites of just 1.5 points because they're operating on night 2 of a back-to-back. The Nuggets lead at 47-36, just due north of here in Portland, Oregon. MLB futures, as promised, let's deliver. I've got to start in the American League Central. I mean, this feels too good to be true. And maybe I eat my words and it was too good to be true, but I feel like the Detroit Tigers should be odds-on favorites in that division. They're favorites, but you're getting plus money. Plus $1.20 on a team with one of the most fierce, two-headed monsters coming at you from the left side in Major League Baseball. Tarek Skubal, Framber Valdez, a couple of $30 million Southpaws. Wasn't that a boxing movie, the $30 million Southpaw? Those two cats out there in Detroit might be enough to propel this team in what is a really mediocre division. I mean, look, the rotation has its bright spots. The bullpen last year was sensational. I expect the bullpen to once again be pretty good this season. Their offense leaves something to be desired. Right? The offense last year kind of tapered out. They had their moments in the regular season. Some guys maybe overperformed. But that division is just so weak. If you've got the pitching Detroit has. Now, look, it's baseball. It's a marathon, not a sprint, right? There's always the chance, knock on wood, an injury could blow this thing up. But they just seem to have so much more of a competent roster than any of their direct competition. Now, the Guardians should be frisky because the Guardians are always frisky. I'm not really buying into the Royals all that much this year. I like the Royals. I enjoy when they're successful, but I'm struggling to get to the counter on anything Kansas City Royal related after they took a step back last season from what was a really encouraging 2024. Minnesota, I'm punting on. The White Sox, maybe better than Minnesota, but that's, I think, about the extent of what the Chicago White Sox can do. So I'm all in on the Detroit Tigers plus 120. And don't forget their secret weapon, their manager, AJ Hinch. I mean, come on, what are we doing here? I feel like AJ Hinch, there's so much disdain and dislike because of the Houston scandal. Guys, we can't forget this guy is as good a manager as exists in Major League Baseball. You give me his leadership, you give me their pitching, I'll give you the Detroit Tigers plus $1.20 to win the AL Central. Now, VSiN's own Adam Burke had some thoughts about their competition in the American League Central. Let's hear from the managing editor here at VSiN on what he thinks about the Kansas City Royals.
Kansas City Royals, who have gotten very, very analytically savvy over the last several years, commissioned a giant study about their ballpark. In their ballpark, their outfield is huge. It's a massive outfield, very, very deep gaps. It's a very good ballpark for doubles and triples. It's not a good ballpark for hitting home runs. So what did they do? They moved the fences in. When you draft a guy like Jack Caglione, a guy like Carter Jensen, you have a Bobby Witt, right? You want to maximize the offensive potential of those guys. So they commissioned this big study. They're going to move the fences in down both lines, specifically 9 to 10 feet in left field. And it's going to create more offensive potential for home runs in that ballpark. And it coincides with, as I just mentioned, the fact that their roster is kind of slanting more towards the power side a little bit now. And their pitchers are very good about pitching to contact and very good about home run suppression. So I think that what's happening at Kauffman Stadium this season is going to be a big boost for the Royals. I like them to make the playoffs. I like them over their season win total. I may dabble in the division, even though I love Detroit, which we can get to a little bit later on. But I think Kansas City is going to really benefit from this park adjustment. Aaron in his Ballpark Pal article mentioned that in the guide. Both Jensen and I mentioned it in our team preview write-ups for the Royals. I think Kansas City is set up very, very nicely for this upcoming season. Just 82 and 80 last year. I think they win 85 plus games this season. They're one of my favorite season win total overs, but we can talk about this a little bit more too. It's hard to bet overs right now just because if Bobby Witt Jr. gets hurt, like I don't like their over as much anymore, so you got to keep those things in mind, but the ballpark adjustments in Kansas City will make a significant difference for that offense.
Would this be, I think the general bettor would listen to this, me, and say, all right, what about early season overs, especially when we get, and then when we get into the winter months, when we get out of the winter months and into the warmer months, would Kansas City, when they play at home, have some potential to play some overs frequently?
Yeah. And look, I think I'm kind of hoping that, there's a big deal made of all these ballpark adjustments and all that, and then scoring starts very slowly in April. That's what I would hope for personally as a bettor, because like you said, it's going to start warming up, and that's a stadium for people who haven't been out there. There is absolutely nothing around that ballpark. It's just a parking lot. It's Kauffman Stadium. It's whatever they call Arrowhead now, and just the world's largest parking lot, right? It's a phenomenal tailgating area, but there's nothing else around it. So when it gets really hot in the summertime, hot, humid, you get kind of that, summer, the ball will carry at Kauffman Stadium. And now it's going to carry to an even higher degree because the fences have been moved in. So I'm hoping things start very slow in April and people are like, oh yeah, they moved in the fences, but it doesn't matter. Oh, it'll matter.
It'll matter, says Adam Burke. Great job there with Adam joining JVT on Pod to the Futures. Make sure you check that out wherever you get your podcasts. Look, maybe I can buy in. Adam did a really good job selling me on the Royals win total. I still can't get there against Detroit in the division. Think about the matchup when those two teams play each other 13 times head to head. Skubal and Valdez coming in from the left side, a Royals lineup that's becoming increasingly all or nothing like in 2015 when they won it all with contact. And a lot of those all or nothing guys, Caglione, lefty. Pasquantino, lefty. I feel like I'm reading a script off of Goodfellas right now. But a lot of Italian lefty power hitters in Kansas City. I'll still take the Detroit Tigers and their pitching to win that division. Folks, the College Hoops Grind is where real bettors find their edge. Dozens of games every night, constant line movement, and a ton of opportunity. You're not going to beat billion-dollar sportsbooks on your own, but with the sharp plays, you don't have to. Powered by advanced AI and connected insider sources, the Sharp Plays highlights sharp action, key numbers, and market shifts before the public catches up. Go to sharpplays.com, trusted by pros, monitored by the books. Own the boards this college hoop season. Visit sharpplays.com. Hour 2, Cashing Out with Joe Serralo. Back in a jiffy.
It's game day. Are your moderate to severe Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keeping you from the action? Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, could help you get back to the game. Skyrizi is proven to help people feel significant symptom relief, achieve remission, and visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining. Skyrizi is a prescription injection medicine for adults. Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's or ulcerative colitis.
Control is everything to me.
Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 prescribed biologic in Crohn's and ulcerative colitis combined.
From Feature Story News in San Francisco, I'm Ira Spitzer. The U.S. Supreme Court has ruled that President Trump's sweeping tariffs on global trading partners are illegal. In a 6-3 ruling, the court determined that the tariffs didn't have the proper authorization from Congress. FSN's Nick Harper reports from Washington.
This ruling is a tremendous blow for the US president and a rare rebuke of his presidential powers. 6 out of the 9 justices saying that they did not believe he had the legal authority to impose tariffs, instead saying that he must have congressional authorization to exercise this power. They said that he had tried to assert extraordinary power to unilaterally impose tariffs of unlimited amount, duration, and scope. He has reacted by calling the ruling a disgrace, but also saying he has a backup plan. It is likely the White House will look for other ways to reimpose these tariffs using other means. But for companies and consumers, this could mean refunds totaling hundreds of billions of dollars as they look to claw back the costs that they've had to pay over the last year as a result of Donald Trump's tariffs. I'm Nick Harper in Washington.
The U.S. economy grew at a 1.4% annual rate in the final quarter of the year, below expectations, even factoring in the 6-week government shutdown that sharply cut federal spending. Consumer spending continued to help drive growth, but cooled from earlier in the year as households dipped into savings and pulled back on big-ticket purchases. Business investment remained a bright spot, driven by continued spending on AI and software. Housing weighed on activity amid high borrowing costs, while inflation remains a persistent concern. Tight security is planned at a rally for a right-wing activist who was killed in an attack in the French city of Lyon earlier in February. Quentin Duranc died after sustaining a severe brain injury when he was attacked on the sidelines of a far-right protest against a left-wing politician. FSN's Ross Cullen reports.
French police will be out in force at a march this weekend for the far-right activist whose fatal beating has been blamed on the hard left, and the incident has inflamed tensions in French politics. The 23-year-old was part of a group providing security for nationalist activists who were demonstrating against a leftist gathering at a university in France's third biggest city of Lyon. Video footage of the attack shows a group of people setting upon Quentin Duranc, who is kicked multiple times before being left lying on the sidewalk while those involved fled on foot. So far, police have arrested 11 people as part of the investigation into the attack.
From Bureaus Worldwide, this is FSN.
This is VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. This is Cashing Out on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Hour 2, let's have some fun. It's Cashing Out with me, Joe Serralo, taking you through your Friday evening here on the program. And we've got so much to get to. A beyond loaded college basketball slate on a Saturday. We're looking at about 150 games, some top 5 tilts. Houston, Arizona at the Fertitta Center in Houston on the Cougars' home court. Michigan and Duke on a neutral in our nation's capital. I mean, how about that one? Like Houston, Arizona. All right, that was pre-scheduled. You're going to have a top 10 matchup there. It's Big 12 conference action. But a Michigan-Duke non-conference game, this could be a title tilt in about 6 weeks from now at the Final Four. Wolverines, Blue Devils, I can't wait for this action. I can't wait to see Cameron Boozer go up against the ferocious front court of the Wolverines. We will break that game down as we progress here. We're going to be talking NFL futures momentarily with our pal CJ Sullivan from the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Before we dive in, some interesting markets available depending on where you are. We've got odds out there for upcoming potential free agents. One is a free agent, Tyreek Hill, released from the Miami Dolphins. A.J. Brown, his future very much so up in the air. We're going to dive into some landing spots for those two cats here in a minute. But the Tyreek Hill situation, I find very intriguing, right? Let's start there because that's what we know. We know Tyreek Hill is no longer a Miami Dolphin. And I said it earlier in the week on Money Moves alongside my good pal Femi Abebefe that a Tyreek Hill Kansas City Chiefs reunion almost feels inevitable. And now you look at, and this came a couple days after the Tyreek Hill news where he was cut from Miami, Rashee Rice with more drama now, the mother of his children alleging that for a year and a half he abused her, and we have to see where this goes. Will Rashee Rice be a Chief come week 1? Will they need help in that receiving core? Tyreek Hill knows the system. He knows the quarterback. He knows Andy Reid. Plus 225 to go to the Kansas City Chiefs will be intriguing, but maybe there's some value on that board. Maybe some other AFC contenders would like Cheetah's services. Let's see what CJ Sullivan, our friend from the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, thinks as he joins us now on the Progressive guest line. CJ, my man, it is great to see you. How are you? And what are your thoughts on where Tyreek Hill could land for the upcoming NFL season?
Joe, great to see you. Great to see you back on the airwaves as well. And also, before I get into the Tyreek Hill news, let me bum everyone out. What an honor and privilege it is to follow George Cerullo and the Papa Knows Bets. Maybe the greatest segment, I think, in the gambling sphere. It just makes me feel good to see an Italian family betting together. It makes me feel cozy. I mean, I imagine you growing up being tucked into bed with trends about Stephen F. Austin lines, Cougar jokes. I mean, I can't get enough of it. I would love a whole show of it, but I'm sure you cannot afford him. But now, there
was no green eggs and ham before bed, CJ. All right, it was lines, it was numbers, it was Manila envelopes. That's what I went to bed dreaming of. All right.
Yeah, never lay the wood on early Saturday games on the road, on that kind of stuff, and then tuck it in. That's beautiful. But yeah, that was fantastic. I love it. It's my favorite. It's my favorite segment of all time. But like you said with Tyreek Hill, it does make sense that can't obviously. What I like about these markets, the next player markets, is that it's not quite like the awards where it's completely narrative driven, but it's similar to that. Like there's a lot of, like we want it just, it makes sense for Tyreek Hill to go back to Kansas City. Obviously Andy Reid has no problem bringing in problem child. He's no stranger to that at all. They are the chalk, but I'm going down the line here with Tyreek Hill. He's a massive injury risk. He's still got about the speed, which is 80%. In Kansas City, they have Xavier Worthy as their deep threat. I think Andy Reid's seen that movie before. After Kansas City, you have Buffalo, Patriots, Giants, Raiders. He actually makes sense as a Raider, but I love Tyreek Hill going to the Chargers at plus 900 right now. You got Mike McDaniels, obviously, offensive coordinator out there who loved him there in Miami. And the Chargers are exactly what they need for a deep threat. Larry McConkey took a step back, blah, blah, blah. Keenan Allen is Keenan Allen. I think Tyreek Hill at the Chargers at 9-1 is definitely worth a stab.
That's interesting. I was thinking, because you look at the construction of their receiving core, the Patriots, Stephon Diggs, more of a possession guy. Mac Hollins did a great job as their number 2 this year. I think he'd be maybe the best number 3 in football if they brought in Tyreek to be the number 2. So I was looking New England, but I like that Chargers angle. Also, just an enticing place to play, with the weather and the climate for a guy like Tyreek Hill, who wanted to be in Miami, presumably for a similar reason. What are your thoughts on the other big name receiver, A.J. Brown, who might be available? Not a sure thing like Tyreek Hill. Is he back in Philly? Does he go maybe to New England himself? They're the next team on the board after the Eagles. What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, A.J. Brown, the chalk is for him to stay with Philadelphia, but personally I think they're going to get rid of him. Howie knows when to get rid of players early and not late. And, he's 29 years old when the season starts, so I think they will trade him, and I think they actually should trade him. New England makes sense because people like they said, because he was with Mike Vrabel. He's also come out and said he didn't like Mike Vrabel when he was there, but he's right. That. You know what I mean? I'm going to go down the line a little bit more. Philly's a chalk. Then you got Patriots at plus 400. The team right below it, which also a nice stab here, Buffalo at 11-1. Now, Buffalo, they got that short all-in window. They have to do it. They hired Joe Brady. They got Josh Allen's buddy. They've swung and missed 40 times trying to get him a number 1 wide receiver, with the Josh Palmers of the world. They've done a trade like this before when they brought in Amari Cooper at age 30. So they're not afraid. And Brandon Beane, if he's not trying to save his job now. He's that, he's that weasel general manager who sold out Keon Coleman in that press conference. And he's that guy who's like, he's not good at his job, but he's good at keeping his job, which he lies to the owner. So I think they have to make this move. They're all in on Josh Allen. So if I would like Buffalo at 11-1, I think come draft day, and I think Howie Roseman will have no problem pulling the trigger on this.
Yeah, I am right there with you, my man. It makes too much sense, A.J. Brown to Buffalo. We talk about, like I said, Tyreek would fit New England well because of his style of play, and you had the same argument just for Los Angeles why he would fit there. Khalil Shakir is the deep threat. He's the speed demon. A.J. Brown, a possession guy. You have them opposite each other, and I think it's a match made in heaven. They need a number 1 receiver in Buffalo. I couldn't agree with you anymore. Let's talk some win totals here. Got some teams that have quarterback question marks. Miami with Tua, Arizona with Kyler Murray. They've got QB question marks, and they've got low win totals. Are you looking at either of those squads?
Arizona intrigues me, to be honest with you. They have the lowest total. I know that. Now, and one move I did make there, I think if they make a bold move, now obviously they have to unload Kyler, and they will unload Kyler. The question is, will they just eat it Russell Wilson style and just cut him, or find someone that will trade for him, give him, any kind of value back? If they do get that, and they do have a lot of money to spend, I think they can, if they sign someone like Malik Willis, which makes a lot of sense there too, at 12-1, by the way. You have Mike LaFleur, who's LaFleur's brother. You can just get the old Malik Willis playbook at Easter dinner this weekend or whatever it is. Nathaniel Hackett, his old offensive coordinator, is now their offensive coordinator. They got a lot of weapons. I think Arizona, I know it's an impossible division they're in, but if they get someone like Malik Willis, you can get him in low now. I can definitely see them get around 7 or 8 wins. So I would like the over on Arizona.
Yeah, Malik Willis is one of the most curious QB cases I've seen in recent memory. A small sample size, but he knocked it out of the park. It's like, I wonder what that's going to bring in contract-wise. It's going to be fun to watch. We talk about low win totals. How about high win totals? There are 9 teams with a win total of 10.5. The Bills, the Ravens, the Eagles, Seahawks, Niners. We're at 3 teams in the NFC West. You mentioned that division being a gauntlet, have a win total of 10.5. But no one any higher than that. The Kansas City Chiefs win total of 10.5. They'll be drafting in the top 10 in a couple of months. Are there 1 or 2 teams with that win total that you think are going to absolutely shatter that ceiling?
Yeah, I mean it's tough with the win totals before the schedules come out, obviously, and
before the draft.
That stuff. Right before the draft, we're going in there. But what are we not going to talk NFL? I mean, come on, it's in front of our plate. But you're right. All those NFC West teams, they have to knock each other off. So going over is very tricky. Like San Fran was a different situation because their schedule was so soft. So that I wouldn't mess with. But Philadelphia is definitely interesting because they can go either two ways. They can either bounce back, where they do that off on, and hit the Super Bowl. They brought in all the new coordinators, or they could start to unravel. And with that, the way that O-line is starting to fall apart, I know Lane Johnson said he's coming back, but Lane Dickerson, I can't see him playing well, or if he's going to play at all next year. I think the NFC East will be stepping up. You have Giants with the Harbaugh. You have Dallas will be bounce back. Washington should have a bounce back year. So I kind of like the under in Philadelphia at 10.5.
Yeah, I like it. I'm right there with you. Let me ask you, final 30 seconds here, CJ. Giants at 7-1 to win that division. Mm-hmm. They've got a second-year quarterback. They've got the new coach to change the culture. First time since Tom Coughlin, an adult, is in the building there. Do you think 7-1 is worth a stab?
7-1 Giants, and I love you even asking that because I can tell you're a Giant fan, and I'm around all the time. and they want this. They want this to happen, and almost I want it for you to happen. But it is a gauntlet. There is a window there. There's absolutely, NFC stuff, but that NFC East is doable. I mean, listen, like you said, this is the first time adult there, but it's not just that. They have talent. They had one of the most underrated offensive lines, I thought, that gets smeared. They have, obviously, if Malik Neighbors comes back, then you got Scadaboo and Dart. Harbaugh's not coaching the Titans, is what I'm trying to say. The Giants have that opportunity there. So 7-1, definitely worth a shot. Why not? Let's go.
Division could be wide open. He's CJ Sullivan. Follow him on Twitter at CJ Sullivan _. Check him out on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Cashing Out with me, Joe Serralo, continues. More MLB futures up next.
This is a Bloomberg Business of Sports report. Madison Square Garden Sports Board of Directors approved a plan to explore spinning off the NBA's New York Knicks and the NHL's New York Rangers. Bloomberg's Randall Williams says it's a move that would make it easier to attract investors to the teams.
Well, they said in the statement that they want to get a proper valuation on these things. MSG as a company is valued at $7 billion. Sportico, Forbes, CNBC all estimate the Knicks and the Rangers combined are much larger than that. You're talking about the Knicks being at 10, potentially the Rangers probably at 3 to 4. And so that combined is anywhere between 13 to 14 billion dollars. I think when you're thinking about these assets, they are very huge and they want to get a proper valuation on them.
The WNBA Players Association sent a counter proposal to the WNBA for a new collective bargaining agreement that includes concessions on revenue sharing and housing. The union is asking for an average of 27.5% of the gross revenue over the course of the CBA. With the Bloomberg Business of Sports report, I'm Michael Barr.
Life can be full of risks. One thing you shouldn't take a risk with ever is your family's health insurance. If you're self-employed or you now need affordable health insurance, you need to make this free call right now and see how the Health Insurance Helpline can help you get it. We specialize in helping the self-employed and people just like you that need affordable health insurance to get it. We have short and long-term health insurance plans, and some even cover dental, vision, and prescription drugs. Don't take a risk with your family's health insurance. It's not worth it. If you're self-employed or now need affordable health insurance, call right now and learn for free how to get it. Listen, affordable health insurance plans for everyone just like you are a free phone call away. So give us a shout right now.
800-659-7540. 800-659-7540. 800-65...
Here's a look at your weather forecast, powered by weatherology.com. Lows level off around 15 tonight under cloudy skies with a chance of snow. Northwesterly winds around 5 miles per hour. High of 38 tomorrow. Mainly clear skies tomorrow night, 14. Low 30s Sunday, turning warmer on Monday with highs in the upper 30s. A dusting of snow tonight. And that's your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Frobley. Currently, it's 20 degrees.
Reuter Auction and Realty is proud to serve Nebraska and northern Kansas for the last 5 decades. We are experts in selling agricultural real estate. Our tools include traditional listings, simulcast auctions, and online-only auctions. Our dedication to details is second to none, and we realize most of our clients have one chance in a lifetime to sell their family's assets. We are full-time land brokers committed to our clients, trusted for decades. Call us today at 402-463-8565 or go to reuterauction.com.
The Sports Betting Network.
Welcome back to Cashing Out here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Cashing Out continues with me, Joe Serralo, taking you through the late hours of a Friday night right on in to your Saturday morning. We mentioned a loaded college hoops slate. We're going to get to that in about 15 minutes for this Saturday. A few top 10 tilts in the nation, about 150 games in total. But we're talking some futures action as well. Great NFL stuff there with our friend CJ Sullivan from the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. How about some MLB futures with my good pal from Sportsline, Angelo Maglioca? A-Mags joining us on the progressive guest line right now. What's better than a couple Italians talking ball on a Friday night? A-Mags, how you doing, man? It's been a while.
Oh, it's great to see you, man. Yeah, there's nothing better than talking some MLB when there's still snow on the ground outside. It's still cold. We're starting to laser focus, think about the MLB and some futures bets that we could root for in the whole season here.
Yeah, snow on the ground by you in New York, but you just go down the coast to Florida. Pete Alonso's hitting dingers already for the Orioles in spring training. Makes me nauseous. I want to throw up. I hate my New York Mets for letting him walk. But let's talk about those Orioles briefly here. And it may not be Pete Alonso, but there is a guy on that roster you like in the awards market?
Yeah, I think there's a case to be made if you want to try to bet into the MVP markets here to go with Gunnar Henderson. I mean, going into last season, he was actually a guy that people were betting on for MVP. And, you know, of course, it wasn't the season that he wanted to have. But a couple of years ago, the reason that they were betting it last year was because he was an over 7 WAR player. He was incredible, actually. It was almost 120 RBIs. He actually was getting up close to 40 home runs. Like, you can look and see that there is definitely some potential in this kid. And, at plus 2,000 here, if you want to try to go against Aaron Judge, I think there's a case to be made for Gunnar Henderson. If he can help this Baltimore Orioles team in an AL East that I think will be very competitive, if he could help them go from last to first, think about that, right? If they won the division, Pete Alonso is on that team now. If he just has a stellar campaign similar to a couple of years ago, even improves, he's getting older, obviously coming more into his own. He takes a step forward. This lineup, I think that there's a lot to be, happy about or look forward to with Pete Alonso in the middle there. I definitely think they could drive in some runs. And hey, Gunnar Henderson to win MVP at plus 2,000, 20-1, I'll take it.
Yeah, how about Pete Alonso, by the way, 13-1 to lead Major League Baseball in home runs? And look, I'm not overreacting to one preseason homer today, but are there legs with that? I mean, Judge at plus 350, Ohtani at 4-1. You got Schwarber, you got Raleigh, Nick Kurtz at 10-1. We're going to finally get a full season out of him. And then Alonso's your 6th shot there. The Orioles lowered the fence and left. I think 13-1 is good value. What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, so you mentioned the fences. That would kind of be my reason to look here, would be just that I think it's a great environment for Pete to come into and hit. And as well, you have that right field porch there with we know how strong Pete is to all fields. You have that right field too, where he can hit one out. So I think Camden Yards is going to play well for his swing. We saw that big home run in spring training, obviously, but man, when you're looking at the home run leader market, it's tough to get away from a guy like an Aaron Judge. And obviously Cal Raleigh last year, we saw him have an incredible season. There's always seemingly like 1 or 2 guys that have these great years. So, hey, Pete Alonso, it could be his season, maybe 50 plus in that Camden Yards. I think there's some legs to it for sure. Maybe if you're thinking that way, though, you want to go and look at laddering up on some of those individual bets for him to hit like 40 plus home runs, 45 plus, 50 plus, because those are out there as well.
Yep, I love it, A-Mags. And one big thing that Alonso has working in his favor there, durability, right? More so than Judge. That would more than likely be his edge.
Oh, yeah.
Alonso's a guy who gives you 162. Aaron Judge has had some issues and some question marks with health lately. He's Angelo Maglioka from Sportsline breaking down some MLB futures with us here. Here's a team we both like from the AL East out west, the Pacific Northwest, the Seattle Mariners. What are your thoughts on them? How are you looking to bet them in the futures market?
Yeah, everything that I look at here in terms of projections wise on the Seattle Mariners and out west has them at a minimum of about 52% to win the division. Some of those projections up into the 70s and even closer to 75% of a chance to win the West. So just looking at that comparatively to the number that's out there, you're still going to get plus 110 out there on some of the major sports books for the Mariners to win the West. And I think, look, it's at the end of the day going to come down to the pitching rotations, the bullpens, right? We know that the baseball and all these games are just one inside the margins. And well, when you look at the Mariners, they're going to come back with another studly bullpen. Once again, they have maybe the best closer in baseball, arguably, I guess I would say, right? And then you also have multiple major arms in that bullpen behind Munoz as well. Of course, one of the deepest rotations in all of baseball with Logan Gilbert, Brian Wu. You have George Kirby in there. There's so many names that you could kind of say, okay, it's going to be on this guy. It's going to be on that guy. And that name isn't Cal Raleigh, right? Then you add him into the mix with this new kind of retooled lineup where they don't have Eugenio Suarez anymore and that near 40% strikeout rate. They're adding Brendan Donovan, who's going to be a much tougher out to make. I think that this lineup has a lot to like. And of course, again, the pitching is always there for this team. They're deep. And I think, getting plus 110 in a division that I think is rather weak, honestly. Look, if you like what the the Astros have done and they can, with adding a Mai, adding a couple other pieces there, it is what it is. I guess you could maybe make a case for them. I don't love the Rangers. I get that they've made some moves too, picking up Mackenzie Gore, but I just don't love them. I think the rest of the division falls off after that, truthfully. So it really should be the Mariners to win, the Mariners to lose. They really should have an easy time here to win. And like I said, every projection I have is at least around 52, 53%. So just numbers wise, it makes sense that there's value here for them to win the West.
Hey, Mags, I'm fully with you, man. I love Eugenio Suarez, but I don't think he'll be that missed in Seattle. He had the postseason heroics. He did not have a good final 2 months of the regular season. You look beyond them, Houston trending down, Texas trending down. The team I'm actually intrigued by that I think is trending upwards is the Athletics, but the pitching is a major question mark. I could put that lineup up against a majority of other lineups in Major League Baseball, though. But I'm with you with the Mariners. I've got them 14-1 to win the World Series because I just can't bet the Dodgers to three-peat. How are you betting the Dodgers going into this season?
I can't bet the Dodgers either. And I think that's smart the way you're looking at the Mariners. They're also, maybe plus 550 to win the American League. I think they should definitely have one of those buys there to get into the DS. And then, they've got to just win one series to then have your plus 550 bet look like great value in the championship series. But going back to the Dodgers, how to bet the Dodgers here. Look, I think there's a cute little angle if you want to kind of take it here with me, but it's not the angle you'd always look at. But how about just the Dodgers to reach the NLCS? They don't need to win it, just reach it. It's available at DraftKings minus 170. I think there's some pretty good value here because you're basically just betting the Dodgers in the NLDS at minus 170 right now. And I do think they would be a worse number than that when they get there. They will almost certainly have a bye, if not the number one seeded bye. And so looking at the Dodgers just needing to win one series to get that bet actually to cash, not even just to get to the NLCS, where you then, if you had them to win the league, they would still have to win. All we need them to do is just win that first series that they'll play out of the bye, and then they'll cash our bet. Minus 170. I think it's a nice little angle to take here on the Dodgers. And watch that one because it stayed open for a good amount last year, a good amount of time. And I was able to even grab that once they were scuffling a little bit with injuries and stuff, and it was into plus odds. So that one was a really good look for us, and I think I'll go back there again. Even at minus 170, I think there's value.
I like that bet, but I also, more so than the bet itself, I like your little preface with, hey, monitor this one because, the Dodgers the last 2 years have been playing with their food, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think they've won 100 games in the regular season the last 2 years, despite winning it all. So if they start slow, they've had an injury bug. Their starting pitching was horrific the first half last season. maybe you get better value than tying up a futures bet with something like minus 170 odds. Amags, as always, fantastic stuff. I want to leave you with this. You got about 30 seconds here. Any read on the NL East? I mean, my Mets are favored. I don't feel good about them. There's turmoil in Philly. The Braves aren't deep. What are your final thoughts on the NL East?
Final thoughts here on the NL East are that I think you're not the team to worry about. Honestly, I think that it'll be the Mets and the Braves fighting there for the NL East crown. The team that I have already faded on CBS Sports, I've already put this one out there, under 91.5 wins for the Phillies this year. It's moved a little bit, but if you can still get that 90.5, I just do not think they are a 90-win team. And so I would actually think the Phillies are the one in trouble. I even took a little Phillies to miss the playoffs. I think the Mets and the Braves make it, though. Whether it's the wild card or the division, I think you guys will be in. So finally, and you just don't collapse this time.
Look at this. He's moving the market. 91.5 is nowhere to be found now. 90.5, 89.5 even at some spots. Angelo, man, appreciate the time. Thanks so much for hopping on.
Thanks, Joe.
MLB futures with Amags. Doesn't get any better than that. But you know what's pretty close? Tweets. We got tweets coming up next. Make sure you tweet at the show, at the Joe Serralo, hashtag cashing out. We've got a bunch in the inbox, and we are going to read them on the other side, as well as preview some college hoops Saturday action and some betting trends. It's Cashing Out with Joe Serralo.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $40 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $18 a month, a savings of nearly $300 a year.
Whether you need a $100,000 policy or a $10 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance. In a hurry? Don't worry. With SelectQuote, you can get up to $2 million in instant, affordable, same-day coverage with no medical exam.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-637-9116. That's 1-800-637-9116. Or go to SelectQuote.com. That's one.
Technology isn't just a part of your business. It is your business. At Hamilton Business Technologies, we believe that the right technology tools make all the difference. From seamless phone systems to secure cloud solutions, we empower Nebraska businesses to stay connected, protected, and ahead of the competition. Your technology isn't an afterthought. It's your competitive edge. Let the official business IT partner of the Huskers show you how technology helps drive business success. Technology is business. Hamilton is business. Connect with us at hamiltonisbusiness.com. If one of the things running through your mind as a business owner is the recurring worry of possible cyber attacks, you can let out a sigh of relief. Hamilton Business Technologies has you covered. As the official business IT partner of the Huskers, we offer real-time threat monitoring, advanced security protocols, and more to keep your data safe from harm. We care about the success of Nebraska businesses and communities like yours. Learn how we can help you at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Stellig Law Firm of Grand Island is committed to assisting clients throughout Nebraska. Stellig Law Firm is a full-service law firm and specializes in estate planning, probate, and personal injury. Stellig Law Firm takes the time to listen and understand each client's personal needs. To schedule your individual appointment, call 308-675-4035. Stellig Law Firm is located at 724 West Koenig Street in Grand Island. A call today will secure your tomorrow.
At Reuter Auction and Realty, we are land brokers and equipment auctioneers. Our company is deeply rooted in agriculture, and we realize that farm and ranch assets are serious business. We are an integrity-based organization which has evolved into over 55 years of service to Nebraska and northern Kansas. Consult with one of our 12 agents today if it's time to sell your family's land and assets. Call us today for a no-obligation consultation at 402-463-8565 or go to reuterauction.com.
Bored of the same old sports coverage? Get on the cutting edge of sports with Extreme Sports.
That ball hammered deep toward left into the well. That ball is gone.
The biggest plays, breaking news, and we can't forget the best sports talk.
Let's be great. Let's be great.
We are Extreme Sports.
If you're planning to build a new home or add an addition to your existing one, trust the experts at Gangwish Construction. From general contracting, basement pouring, to bathroom remodeling, concrete work, and deck building, they handle it all with precision and care. They take pride in doing the job right the first time, every time. Contact Jeff today at 402-460-0013 and experience quality craftsmanship with Gangwish Construction.
Game podcast and other VSiN shows wherever you listen to podcasts.
Welcome back to Cashing Out here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Cashing Out rolls on with me, Joe Serralo. On a Friday night, we've got a great weekend in college hoops up ahead. We are going to dive in to some of the best trends for betting college basketball here momentarily. But first, as promised, we've got tweets. Make sure you tweet at us at the Joe Serralo. Hashtag cashing out. I'm going to read the best ones on air here. And we're going to start with a long-time listener. My guy, Dan Groeschel, says, best play for tomorrow, Duke, Michigan, over 150.5. Why? Because I'm over this year when I bet the Michigan game under. Curious if you agree. Also curious for your Florida game play. Well, Dan, my man, as always, I appreciate it. I'm on the same side as Pops, who you heard in hour one on this Florida Ole Miss game. I locked it in bright and early Friday morning at 12.5. I'd still play it at a flat 13. I think the Gators are going to go into Oxford, Mississippi and chomp out the Rebels. I think you could be looking at something to the tune of an 18, maybe a 20-point win there. Now, look, I'm breaking one of my golden rules. I know if I'm wrong, you can throw eggs at my apartment. That's okay. I don't like these big road favorites in that early window, right? That noon Eastern. I believe Mississippi. I mean, I'm all right at geography. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's Central Time. So that might be an 11 a.m. local time start. I don't love it, but this Gators team is too good, right? There are three teams I view right now as national title contenders. And it is Michigan, obviously, not Duke. It's Florida. It's Houston. So the Gators, when you look at their size, when you look at their depth when it comes to scoring, they've been there, done that, right? Thomas Houck last year went from sixth man to this year bona fide superstar. Alex Condon and Ruben Chinyelu, their 4 and 5, are back returning. That front court is massive for Golden's Gators. So I love this team. I think that they go down to Ole Miss. Now, there's a Florida team that, mind you, I don't believe they've covered 3 straight. I think they cover in a big way. It's a Rebels team that you just got to fade. They stink as home dogs. They stink in conference play. They stink at home against the number. I'm going to lay it in that early window with the Gators in Oxford. To the Michigan-Duke point, Dan, I'll dive into that game in a little bit. My play is on a side, not the total. But, I mean, this Michigan team can score. Maybe I'd look at a team total before I played the full game total. That might be giving away where I'm leaning here. But you know who else is playing that full game total? Our pal, Vegas Al. At Vegas Al 31 tweets Saturday, college hoops, Baylor -7, Duke and Michigan over 149.5. And how about Arizona +5? Taking the points with the Cats against the Cougs is our pal, Vegas Al. I've got no play on that Houston-Arizona game. I actually got a little scared off by it being too many points. I think the Cougars win, especially at home. But 5 points for a team that was undefeated a week ago, it does feel like a lot of points. This Baylor -7 spot, Al, I do like that play there. Arizona State coming off a big win at home against Texas Tech. Obviously, you got that terrible Toppin injury, ruins the Red Raiders season. And now they've got to go on the road. Baylor has undoubtedly underperformed, but they can score. And this Arizona State team, while they're frisky in Tempe, they don't travel all that well. Baylor's dropped consecutive home games to Louisville, to BYU. They haven't won at home since Wednesday, February 4th when they beat Colorado by 20. I do believe they should be able to get back in the win column, and I don't mind that touchdown you're laying there with the Bears. Sick 'em at home, Al. We have got more tweets. Let's see what else we've got on deck here. Is there a repeat offender I'm looking at? Another one from our guy Dan, who shifted a little bit to baseball. Dan says, at Joe Serralo, I wanted to say something witty about you running the point again on cashing out, but I'm too knotted up on this Merrimack sweat. Well, Dan, we got you home with that Merrimack -3.5 play. He continues, anyway, I just added a little Mets Phils 1-2 finish in the NL East. Mets first place, Phillies second place, plus 425. Puts in parentheses. Yeah, I know. I now have to root for the Mets. Pray for me. Dan, I'm glad you got to the counter on it because I certainly didn't. Go figure this NL East. I can just pick apart flaws with the Mets and the Phillies and the Braves all day long. I am not sold on a single one of those teams. They are all hovering between about plus $1.60 and 2-1 to win that division. I just can't find an edge anywhere I look. I can find issues with all of those rosters. And as Randy Jackson would say, or I'm sorry, I was going to say it's a no for me, dog. But yeah, it is a no for me, dog. I can't touch any team to win that division. Mets, Phillies. I'll root for you. I mean, I got to root for you. You got the Mets coming in first, and no one loves to roast me over the Mets more than our buddy, Dan Groeschel. Last one. Our friend Bert Wedemeyer tweets at us at Bert Wedemeyer 31. I'm loving all these 31s, by the way. Vegas Al 31, Bert Wedemeyer 31. That was my old number back when I was playing ball. Mike Piazza. I wore number 31 for Mickey P. A couple of Italians got to stick together. Bert tweets, you and your dad are great together. A lot of laughs. That segment was giving me old school sports radio vibes. And the reason I share that one, Bert, and I appreciate you saying that, my man, is because the first time we ever did Father Knows Bets, a little over a year ago, about 13 months ago, live from the incredible VSiN Studios down at Circa, I got a text from my, I guess you would say, ex-stepmother, who was tuned into the program and said, wow, it's just like listening to you two in the living room 10 years ago. Sounds like a New York sports radio show. So that's the vibe we shoot for. Obviously more national than just New York based, but it's what I grew up on. It's what I grew up doing with Pops. And now we're doing it on the big stage. Bert, really appreciate that tweet at the show. Make sure you keep them coming at the Joe Serralo. Hashtag cashing out. Send them in. The best ones get read. The worst ones get trashed. But if they're funny, we might read those too. We'll get to some college hoops trends as promised in a minute. But we did some great MLB futures talk with my buddy Angelo Maglioka a minute ago. We've got a great MLB betting guide out now, guys. Don't waste time. Hop on the VSiN MLB betting guide. It's your playbook for the entire upcoming season. This betting guide features in-depth previews for all 30 teams, a deep dive into whether money can really buy championships, MVP and Cy Young Award analysis, a complete stats glossary with key terms included, an expert betting insight from our closer. You know him. He starts your day. He used to close games in Cleveland. Now he opens your day. VSiN by the books, our buddy Jensen Lewis. Download the guide right now, a la carte if you'd like, for $19.99, or become a VSiN Pro subscriber and get the guide included with all the other terrific stuff we do here at VSiN.com/guide. All right, college hoops trends. It's a college hoops Saturday coming up. We promised we'd get into it. Now, I shortened these trends to specifically conference play, right? What a team did in November doesn't do much for me now. Let's look at the best teams to bet in the nation right now. I tried to include every team covering at a 70% clip or better. How about Stephen F. Austin? I mean, these lumberjacks. Now, I am a little wary. My father gave him out in the first hour of the show. Father Knows Bets, laid 13 with him, a baker's dozen at home against Nicholls State, a team who they already beat by 17 on the road earlier this year. But I was a little hesitant because Stephen F. Austin as double-digit favorites, 2-2 this year against the number. They're 20-5 overall. So that means when they're not a double-digit favorite, they're 18-3 against the spread. In conference play, they're 15-3 against the spread. I mean, Stephen F. Austin has been an absolute cash cow this year. Merrimack right behind them. That's the team we just hit on in that parlay with Merrimack -3.5 and Miami of Ohio money line. By the way, Miami of Ohio, well, they're covering at a 71.5% clip in conference play. 10-4. They're on the list. These are the teams you got to look for. Not the prettiest, not the sexiest. Teams like Eastern Michigan in the MAC or Omaha in the Summit League. They get it done. Teams you got to fade? How about the Summit League? Kansas City, 1-12 in conference play. It's a 7.7% cover clip. Oral Roberts in the Summit League, 2-11 against the number. Northeastern in the CAA. Air Force, appreciate their service. Don't appreciate what they do to our wallets. Florida Gulf Coast, Incarnate Word. Stay away from those teams. If you're looking for the big, maybe power conference schools to fade, BYU, Auburn, coming in at just 31% cover rates. Well, BYU has a top 25 matchup in Provo with Iowa State. They're 3.5-point dogs. We'll touch on it in the next hour. For now, taking it to the Riv, up the road from me, Wes Reynolds breaks down some golf on Cashing Out with Joe Serralo.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-939-20.
Here's a look at your weather forecast, powered by weatherology.com. Lows level off around 15 tonight under cloudy skies with a chance of snow. Northwesterly winds around 5 miles per hour. High of 38 tomorrow. Mainly clear skies tomorrow night, 14. Low 30s Sunday, turning warmer on Monday with highs in the upper 30s. A dusting of snow tonight. And that's your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Frobley. Currently, it's 20 degrees.
You're locked in to Extreme Sports.
Olivares now hits a line drive to deep left field. Ward is back to the wall. Granny time!
Here's Doncic wheeling inside in traffic and got it to go. Got it, the foul.
The home of 24/7 sports talk. Nothing but pure sports action.
Hi, this is Terry Anstein, President, 5 Points Bank of Hastings. On behalf of our shareholders, directors, and staff, I would like to thank all of our great customers for helping us become the fastest growing bank in Hastings. I would also like to invite everyone in the Hastings area to stop in and visit with one of our bankers and learn how we can be your bank for the long run. Locally owned, locally managed, 5 Points Bank, the better bank. Member FDIC.
At Midwest Farm Management, often the most challenging decision to our clients is what to do with a family farm. We've been helping answer this question since the 1970s. Our company is focused on working with tenants that are good stewards of the family farm while offering excellent returns to our owners. Our services include, but are not limited to, detailed financial and field reports, grain marketing, crop insurance, and finding and executing a lease agreement that best fits your farm. Give us a call today at 402-463-1110 or find us on the web at midwestfarmmanagement.com.
Hi, I'm Mitch Stellick from Stellick Law Firm in Grand Island. The lawyers of Stellick Law Firm have over 90 years of combined legal experience. Our firm specializes in family law, personal injury, probate and estate planning, as well as real estate and corporate law. Stellick Law Firm believes in getting to know our clients and finding the best way to serve you. Call us today at 308-675-4035 to schedule your appointment. Stellick Law Firm is ready to work for you. Let us be your voice.
Physical Therapy and Sports Rehab, 207 South Burlington, is the place for all your rehabilitation needs. PTSR offers a wide variety of services, including orthopedic, neurological, and sports injury rehabilitation. A certified hand specialist is available for the more delicate upper extremity injuries. Warm, aquatic therapy, and balance training is also available. PTSR has a strong industrial services division providing physical and functional capacity testing, as well as drug and alcohol screening. Please visit our website, ptsrhastings.com.
Join us on the Sports Betting Network.
Welcome back to Cashing Out here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Cashing Out continues with me, Joe Serralo, here on a Friday night. And folks, here's what a lot of gamblers don't realize. The IRS taxes your wins, not your net, after a bad season. So you can be down overall and still owe big. That's why you need tax resolution expert Paul Francetic. He's been fixing gambler tax problems for over 20 years. Right now, you can get a free gambler tax problem consultation. Call 262-752-6992 or visit gamblertaxhelp.com. And with that said, we're going to head on over back to the Progressive guest line and welcome in VSiN's own. I can't wait to break down college hoops and the Genesis Invitational with Wes Reynolds. You can catch him, the articles he writes for VSiN.com, the incredible job he does on the Long Shots Golf Podcast. Wes, it is great to have you on, my man. And I just alluded to this BYU Iowa State Saturday night. We'll call it the nightcap up in Provo, the last game on the slate. What are your thoughts on the Cougars being 3.5-point home dogs, my friend?
Yeah, and I'm not surprised to see them that, considering that Richie Saunders now gone for the year, even though BYU made a pretty game effort without him, stayed within the number at Arizona, where Arizona was smarting off their previous loss. But I took BYU +4. I'd still take them 3.5, too. I think that this is kind of like the rally spot for the Cougars, if you will, because they haven't beaten really any of the elite teams at home. They lost to Arizona at home, that furious comeback on Big Monday, where they almost got it into overtime. Then they lost to Houston at home. Now you get Iowa State off their biggest 2 wins of the season. Number 1, beating their arch rival Kansas for the last time they're going to play in the Hilton Coliseum. And then a couple nights later, beating Houston, which was kind of a rock fight game in the second half. It was really up and down and high tempo in the first half and a lot of good shot making. But Iowa State, even though this is the same team, keep in mind, Joe, that took apart Purdue back in December, was not easy to do on the road. This team's only 3-3 on the road in conference play. So this team can get and they can get in lower scoring games where they struggle to shoot the ball. I think that this is BYU, been 3-6 in the last 9 games. Season's kind of gone the wrong way. I think this is the rally spot. I think the Cougs win outright.
The Cougs need it, man. Just 4-6 in their last 10 games outright. This would be a huge spot for them, a late night game at the Marriott Center. How about the ACC West? I am really not impressed with this conference. You've got a North Carolina team, has a great win against Duke, and I know that they're dealing with injury issues with Caleb Wilson, and they were also missing their center for that game. They got blown out against NC State. Now they take on the Syracuse Orange. Been a down year for them. How do you see this game unfolding?
Yeah, the ACC maybe has been a little bit better at the top this year because Virginia and Clemson have been improved, but Duke's really the only team that can go the distance. And, yeah, I played some Syracuse +1.5 against North Carolina, and that's not a program I'm impressed with right now. I don't think Red Autry is the guy, and I'll be interested to see if he's brought back next season. But I think this is a good spot for the Orange because of the injury issues that you mentioned with Carolina. If you watched them at NC State the other night, not that losing to NC State is a bad thing necessarily because that's a good team, but Carolina looked totally lost without not only Caleb Wilson, but without Visar. And we'll see if he will go on Saturday. But Carolina looked really slow. They started that big lineup, the big backcourt, and then the 2 big guys, Stevenson and High, down low. They looked really slow against NC State. And I think maybe Syracuse could make them look slow. The big down there, William Kyle, who's a really good rebounder, really good shot blocker. I think that this is a tough spot for Carolina. I think they lose 2 in a row here, and Syracuse, this is kind of like their last high-profile game of the season in the Dome up there in Western New York. So I expect a good effort actually out of the Orange, even though I don't think they're going to the NCAA tournament. They might use this as their tournament game with the Tar Heels coming in, so I like the Orange.
He's VSiN betting analyst Wes Reynolds. Make sure you follow him on Twitter at Wes Reynolds1. Check out Long Shots, the golf podcast that he co-hosts excellently. We'll get into some golf here in just a minute. The Genesis Invitational up the road from me at the Riv. But Wes, one more college hoops game to hit on. Take us to the Fog, Lawrence, Kansas, Jayhawks, Bearcats of Cincinnati. What's your read on Kansas as a double-digit home favorite?
Yeah, we've seen a little bit of money, Joe, on Cincinnati, and I think it's rightfully placed here. Kansas, you just look at what they've had recently. They did go and beat Oklahoma State and Bill Self's homecoming. Of course, he's a former Oklahoma State Cowboy, but they had a couple real high-energy games. The win over Arizona at home and then the loss at Iowa State. I think that this is a little bit of a sleepy spot because, by the way, they got Houston coming in on Big Monday in just 2 days. So short turnaround against the Bearcat team that's only 14-12, but they've been a little snake bit. They've lost some really close games that they could have went either way. This team easily could be like 17-9 or 18-8. They've won 3 in a row now, Cincinnati, where they're kind of working their way toward 500 in the Big 12, which is as impressive as you get. That might be the best conference in the country. Cincinnati's a very good defensive team. They're one of the better defensive teams in the country, and I think they turned this into a rock fight. I thought anything over double digits was high here, so I like Cincinnati.
Wes taking the points with the Bearcats. Let's dive into some golf here. We've reached the cut at the Genesis Invitational out here at Riviera. And Thursday, the course was not friendly. We had some rough weather out here. It was pouring in the morning in West Los Angeles. It's nothing but sunshine and blue skies forecasted for Saturday, Sunday. What's your biggest read on the way that this course has played thus far? And does it impact your handicap or maybe not because the forecast is going to switch up and be a lot nicer the next 2 days?
Well, not as much, maybe. I knew it was going to be soft early because it's been a wet recent week out there in L.A. And Rory McIlroy usually takes advantage of soft golf courses, and he certainly did. He's won off the lead 6 under today, and he's the guy that I have the best chance to win here in pocket. But I think what you want to look at, Joe, and you were right in terms of the fact that it did dry out a little bit today. So it was not a soggy course like it was on Thursday. So it dried out. So it's a little bit firmer, which is how they want Riviera to play. And I think that favors the big hitters. And that's what you've seen. And you're going to get more roll in the fairway now. I think Rory is going to eventually win this thing. But if I'm looking a little bit down the board, if you're not involved and you don't want to take Rory at less than $2 or a plus 175 to win this thing, a couple guys down the board, maybe an intermediary, is Adam Scott at 12-1. Now, Adam Scott, by the way, did bogey 18, so he only finished 9 under. But Adam Scott's won at Riviera twice, and this guy just knows how to play here. So Adam Scott would be one I would look at, and I'd look at Kurt Kitayama as well at about 40-1, because if you look at the ball striking, which is how I judge this here, nobody struck the ball better than Rory when you combine off the tee and approach. Kurt Kitayama is just behind him, has gained over 4 1/4 strokes ball striking his first 2 rounds. Just if he can make some putts over the weekend, because I think those guys that are in that final pairing have lived off the putter a little bit, and that's Marco Penge, the Englishman, and Jacob Bridgman, who will be your final group tomorrow at 12 under par. These guys have been in this situation very often, especially at a signature event like the Genesis at Riviera. So I'm going to trust the class players here, and I think that I could see those 2 guys in the final group absolutely fading over the weekend.
Wes, I love the breakdown, man. Last one here in the final 2 minutes. I texted you a couple days ago, and I don't bet golf often. I dabble occasionally. I said I got Victor Hovland at plus 140 to finish top 20. He's done so 4 straight years at the Genesis. He had a good day 1, was tied 12th. A rough day 2, couple shots over. He's tied 42nd. He did make the cut, but that plus 140 is now plus 335, on the live market. How do you feel about him for a top 20 finish? Anyone else in that market who catches your attention?
I mean, he could, Joe, but he's got to make some putts. He's lost almost 5 strokes putting over 2 days. He's actually struck the ball pretty solidly, but the thing with Victor Hovland is always a guy that I think he has the talent, but he gets in his own head. And that's what you worry about. He's constantly tinkering with his swing and, messing around a little bit. And it's like, you got the goods, man. Just play golf. So we'll see if he does that over the weekend. In terms of top 20s, if you want some plus money, I'd maybe look at Cameron Young at about plus 125. I think that he's a guy that, kind of had a good round today, turned it around after a rough day one. So Cameron Young plus 125. And then Patrick Cantlay, if you're brave, he's been can't play lately, but plus 270 for a guy that's got 2 top 5 finishes his last 2 times here. He's always like a backdoor guy, Joe, where he'll rally and he'll shoot 64 on Sunday and all of a sudden get into the top 10, top 20 range. So Cantlay if you want a big price at 270.
Wes, as always, fantastic stuff, man. Appreciate the time and the breakdown. Thanks so much for hopping on.
You bet, Joe. Thanks for having me.
Make sure you follow him on Twitter at WesReynolds1. Check out Long Shots for more of that incredible golf breakdown from our friend Wes Reynolds. It's another hour of Cashing Out with Joe Serralo. Up next, Michigan Duke. Let's break it down.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code TURBO to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code TURBO for a 25 cents per gallon.
From Feature Story News in San Francisco, I'm Ira Spitzer with a look back at some of the week's top stories. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, formerly known as Prince Andrew of the British royal family, was arrested on suspicion of misconduct in public office. It relates to his time as trade envoy and the alleged sharing of confidential material with the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. He has not been charged and has long denied any wrongdoing. FSN's Ollie Barrett has more from London.
What police are further saying is that this is part of an investigation now, they confirm. The reason that is significant is that previously Thames Valley Police had simply said they were assessing claims that had been made to them about the potential of misconduct in a public office. They've now confirmed a formal investigation is underway and an arrest has been made. They say the arrest was made on suspicion of misconduct in public office, and they say they're also carrying out searches at addresses in Berkshire and Norfolk.
The U.S. Supreme Court ruled that President Trump's sweeping tariffs on global trading partners are illegal. In a 6-3 ruling, the court determined that the tariffs didn't have the proper authorization from Congress. FSN's Nick Harper has more from Washington.
This ruling is a tremendous blow for the US president and a rare rebuke of his presidential powers. 6 out of the 9 justices saying that they did not believe he had the legal authority to impose tariffs, instead saying that he must have congressional authorization. They said that he had tried to assert extraordinary power to unilaterally impose tariffs of unlimited amount, duration and scope. He has reacted by calling the ruling a disgrace, but also saying he has a backup plan. It is likely the White House will look for other ways to reimpose these tariffs.
India joined the U.S.-led AI infrastructure initiative called Pax Silica, which is widely seen as a countermeasure to China's dominance over the supply of key materials used in the industry. It came as top U.S. companies pledged to invest billions of dollars in India during an AI Impact Summit. FSN's Ishan Garg has more from New Delhi.
India joined the Pax Silica initiative on the sidelines of the AI Impact Summit, ending speculation over whether trade tensions were getting in the way of broader cooperation between Washington and New Delhi. According to the U.S. State Department, Pax Silica is aimed at bringing friendly countries together to reduce what it calls coercive dependencies. The initiative was launched in December last year with countries including the UK, Australia, South Korea and the UAE as its first few members. With India pitching itself as a key AI power during the AI summit, analysts say the move not only highlights New Delhi's role on a global stage, but also signals thaw in US-India ties.
From Bureaus Worldwide.
This is VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. This is Cashing Out on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
All right, it's a new hour. Cashing Out with Joe Serralo rolls on a Friday night, taking you through the late hours of your evening all the way in to your Saturday morning. And what a Saturday it's going to be in college basketball. About 150 games, no shortage of action. I know football season's over, guys, but there is no shortage of action on our docket. 23 days out, inside 22 days out from Selection Sunday as the calendar flips to Saturday. And we can't wait here at VSiN for March Madness. It is going to be another incredible tournament run. I can feel it. We can literally taste it. Some top 10 tilts on Saturday. Houston, Arizona, a Big 12 showdown. Michigan and Duke giving us a taste of a potential Final Four preview, a non-conference matchup of this caliber. How rare is that in late February as those two teams square off on a neutral in our nation's capital? The Wolverines laying 2.5. We're going to break that down and hear from Michigan coach Dusty May here momentarily. We've got a great hour ahead, some great guest spots coming up. It's all college hoops, folks, so buckle up. We're breaking it down with VSiN's own Greg Hoops Peterson in about 15 minutes. You're going to hear your favorite segment in about a half hour. Father Knows Bets with my pops George Serralo as he gives out his college hoops winners, his last two appearances here on Cashing Out with me. The man is 8-4 against the number. So he's hot, I'm hot, we're killing it. The heat must be genetic. Let's dive in to this Michigan-Duke game in D.C. on Saturday. The Wolverines laying 2.5 against the Blue Devils. And I think Michigan is absolutely, undoubtedly, unquestionably the right side in this contest. The Duke Blue Devils are going to have the best player on the court in Cameron Boozer, but the depth of Michigan, the front court of these Wolverines, is going to prove too much for Boozer and company. Patrick Ngugba is great for Duke, but Michigan's got a three-headed monster in the front court that I think the only team in the nation who can compete with it is the Florida Gators. How about Michigan their last 5 games? They rank number 1 in net rating, number 1 in offensive rating, number 3, I talk about that front court, in offensive board percentage, getting offensive rebounds on 43% of their misses. They're 14th in effective field goal percentage, and they're 8th in opponent effective field goal percentage. It's as complete and dynamic a team as there is on both sides of the ball, and what they possess that Duke lacks is depth. If Cameron Boozer gets neutralized, the Blue Devils are in trouble. They have just 3 guys who average 9 or more points per game. Michigan's got 6. Michigan says, oh, you want guys who can average double figures? How about our starting 5 and then 1? This Wolverines team is deep. I mean, they just went on the road, tough environment. West Lafayette beat Purdue. They don't have a guy with more than 17 points in that contest. They put up over 90 as a collective unit. This team is a force on each side of the ball, and they have a terrific coach in Dusty May, who has been there, done that, and will have the Wolverines primed and ready to win a national championship. Let's hear from Dusty May on what makes this team so darn special.
says that we have a really talented group of people, coaches, players, support staff, everyone involved that make each other better. I think if you take several of our guys away, then we're not near as good. And it's what they bring to the table. It's how we embrace each other and our strengths. As far as the number one ranking, here's how important it is to me. Someone asked me if I've ever been on a staff, and I said I think I was on a staff that got up to maybe like number 3 in the country. I don't know what year. I think I remember the team. So if that makes sense, it means absolutely nothing right now. I don't know what any staff that I've ever been on, what we were ranked at the end of the year, to be honest. I don't recall and don't really care. So it's awesome for our fans. It's cool for the energy and intensity that it brings to the games and being able to do cool things like college game day and whatnot. But as far as internally or me emotionally, it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, I think I recall this guy being on a team, leading a team to a top 3, top 4 finish, right? The guy has been to a Final Four with Florida Atlantic. Now he's got all the resources, all the money. University of Michigan's richer than God, make no mistake about it, right? He's got every resource he needs for NIL, can revamp the roster every single year. The way that Michigan has attacked the transfer portal this past offseason is proving dividends. It's proving phenomenal. It's why they're sitting here number 1 in the country, a one-loss team in certainly a top 2 conference, maybe the best conference in all of the land. Big 10, Big 12, take your pick. I mean, they're both top-heavy as hell. Dusty May is a phenomenal head coach, and he has a phenomenal front court that I cannot highlight enough. Again, I'll repeat, if Cameron Boozer gets neutralized in this one, Duke does not have the depth to compete with Michigan. And we talk about Michigan's offense, and yes, they're an incredibly efficient shooting team, atop the country in field goal percentage, both true field goal percentage and effective field goal percentage, which of course takes into account the point differential for 2s and 3s. But defensively, I mean, you're looking at a team that's averaging damn near 7 blocks per contest. They've got Ade Mara, the 7'3" big man from Spain. They've got Yaxel Lendenberg, who's their best scorer, plays the small forward, is really a stretch 4, kind of playing the 3 out there. Morris Johnson Jr., who's tough as nails, and by the way, can give you double-figure scoring, like all these guys can on Michigan. I love Cameron Boozer's game, right? He's going to be phenomenal, going to be a top 5 pick in the draft. I don't think he can single-handedly carry this Duke team to victory. And you look at some of Duke's earlier tilts, right? They had a true home game against Florida back when the Gators were ailing, and Duke was up at one point double digits early in the second half, and they should have blown the doors off the Gators. Instead of stomping them out, the Gators chomped back, and they lose that game by a point. And it was a true home game for Duke. Now you're on a neutral. And DC, both alumni bases show up and show out anywhere they go. I think it's going to be a great atmosphere. I don't know if there's going to be an advantage. I lean maybe 60-40 Michigan just by the nature of the kind of school it is and the jobs in D.C. But, I mean, they're both incredible academic schools. So both, I'm sure, flooding D.C. and the professions there. It's going to be a phenomenal atmosphere. But they're on a neutral. Michigan's 3-1 against the spread on a neutral. Duke 2-2 against the spread on a neutral. I'm laying 2.5 with the best team in the country. Michigan, -2.5. That's the best bet for this tilt with Duke in D.C. Now, I did just call Michigan the best team in the country. I'm not betting on them to win a national title. Why is that? There's no value. They're sitting there atop your board at 3-1, and I can't get behind a futures ticket in the field of 68 that's only got 3-1 value. I've got 2 tickets in pocket. One of them I've been talking about here on VSiN for the past week. Florida Gators, a team I just mentioned with their tilt in Durham when they lost 67-66 in a game they had no business being in at the time that they clawed and chomped their way back into. Got them 15-1. I think that's a tremendous miss by Vegas on the value for Golden's Gators to repeat. The other team I got at a shorter price that I actually don't love as much as Florida, but should have beaten Florida in the Natty a year ago. It's the Houston Cougars, +850. And they are playing host to Tommy Lloyd and the Arizona Wildcats in Houston at the Fertitta Center. And this game is going to be more of a barometer than a bet for me. What do I mean? I mean, I don't have action in this game, but I'm going to be watching this and watching how Houston handles a true home game against Arizona for how I gauge them and how I judge them moving forward. I bet Houston to win the national title right after their loss at Iowa State. And I had Iowa State. I was on the right side, or at least maybe the right result. Houston could have very well been the right side. They were up 10 with 7 minutes to go, and they just went absolutely ice cold offensively. But I look at this Cougars team, and any game down the stretch where they're either home or on a neutral, I think Kelvin Sampson's squad is the play. In their last 10 games, the Cougars, who are always traditionally known as a defensive powerhouse under Sampson, are in the 99th percentile in offensive rating. They're also, of course, in the 90th percentile in defensive rating. They don't turn the ball over, and they are a far better shooting team from beyond the arc than Arizona. The Arizona Wildcats, first percentile. That is not good, folks. First is not good in this sense. They are in the bottom 1% in the country in 3-point attempts per game in their last 10, at just 15 of them. Houston's making nearly 10 threes per game. Arizona's only taking about 15. I think it's a big advantage for the Cougars. Again, it's a big number, laying 5.5. This game probably a stay away for me. Maybe a Houston money line slot in a parlay, but I'm using this as a barometer for the Cougars down the stretch, because after that loss at Iowa State, I said if these two teams play on a neutral, I'm making Houston a 3.5-point favorite over the Cyclones. Houston to win the national title is a bet I think we should all be keeping our eyes on. They are just as good a defensive team as they were a year ago, but they are a better offensive team than they were a year ago. I love Kelvin Sampson's Cougars squad. Hey, if you want to stay sharp as a bettor, having the right information makes all the difference. Just Win Bets, baby, uses mathematical models and AI-driven analysis to help identify value and break down betting markets across multiple sports. From college hoops and the NBA to the UFC and international soccer, they're providing insights to help you make smarter decisions. They also go live every Friday with a full weekend betting preview. And right now, for a limited time, the picks are free. Just scan that QR code on your screen and follow Just Win Bets, baby, to stay ahead of the market. You know who's always ahead of the market? The guy who doesn't sleep. VSiN's own resident college hoops expert, Greg Peterson. He's going to join us on the other side, taking you across the country from Merrimack to Michigan. It's Cashing Out with Joe Serralo. Don't go anywhere.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-307-0189 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-307-0189. That's 800-307-0189. What do you have to lose? Call 800-307-0189. Again, 800-307-0189.
It's game day. Are your moderate to severe Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keeping you from the action? Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, could help you get back to the game. Skyrizi is proven to help people feel significant symptom relief, achieve remission, and visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining. Skyrizi is a prescription injection medicine for adults. Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's or ulcerative colitis.
Control is everything to me.
Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 prescribed biologic in Crohn's and ulcerative colitis combined.
Here's a look at your weather forecast, powered by weatherology.com. Chance for snow tonight, otherwise cloudy skies expected. Lows around 15, winds out of the northwest, around 5 miles per hour. 38 tomorrow, cloudy skies. Tomorrow night, lows dip down to about 14. Low 30s Sunday, turning warmer on Monday with highs in the upper 30s. A dusting of snow tonight. And that's your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Frobley. Currently, it's 20 degrees.
Physical Therapy and Sports Rehab of Hastings is the trusted name in sports injury management. The staff of PTSR provides up-to-date and efficient care of sports-related injuries, returning athletes quickly and safely back to the playing field. PTSR offers free evaluation of all sports-related injuries to all area athletes during convenient 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. hours Monday through Friday. Call 402-462-8824 for more information. Remember, Physical Therapy and Sports Rehab of Hastings for all your physical and occupational therapy needs.
Welcome
back to Cashing Out here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Cashing Out continues with me, Joe Serralo, taking you into your Saturday morning. And as our next guest will remind me, there are, 148 games to be exact? I've been saying around 150. We'll see what the total number really is when he hops on joining us on the Progressive Guest Line. It's the college hoops expert who can take you from Northern Arizona to the Northeast Conference and everywhere in between. Greg Hoops Peterson joining the show. Greg, how are you, man? Start us off, please, at the Fog with this Kansas-Cincinnati Big 12 showdown in Lawrence.
Absolutely, and I believe there's either 148 or 149 games because there was supposed to be 149. The Boston U game, it looks like, got postponed. So, unfortunate there, but that's going out to Kansas. That is a line where I was seeing this right around 10.5, and this did make my write-up. Says up on the VSiN website, by the way. I was willing to lay it with Kansas. Now, what we're going to get out of Aaron Peterson, we have no idea. You know what you're going to get out of Peterson here at VSiN? We don't know what we're going to get out of Peterson with regards to Kansas, but even if you don't get a ton out of him, you've got a guy in Trey White that's been able to shoot it well from three. You've got Malvin Council who's been able to do a nice job, and they're going to have a nice edge down low because Flory has been able to give you 2.5 blocks per game. And this has been a Cincinnati team that, while they rank in the top 10 in terms of points allowed on a per possession basis, that goes outside the top 100 away from home. They give up darn near 18.5 points more per 100 possessions away from home rather than at home. And they've actually shot it a little bit better from three-point range. Chisel James has been shooting over 40% for three. Day Thomas gives you a little bit from the outside. So right now I'm seeing that total 138.5. This actually was as low as like a 134.5. But even here out of 138.5, would be looking at that over to go along with laying the 10 to 10.5 with Kansas.
Melvin Council, Greg, this is why we can't have nice things if you're from a small school like I am in St. Bonaventure. We had this kid a year ago, man. NIL makes it impossible.
Wagner had him too.
Wagner in Staten Island. I mean, good for Melvin Council. He was able to get out of Staten Island. I mean, there's a reason that, the Purge movie, The Purge, was founded there, right? But Melvin Council killing it in Kansas. I'd almost argue this team plays like a better cohesive unit when Peterson's not on the court, like that big win they had against Arizona when they went from +2.5 to +5.5, said, keep the points, we're going to win it outright. Let's talk about Arizona. They're headed to Houston to take on Kelvin Sampson's Cougars. It's a stay away from me. I did take a piece of Houston in the futures market, +850 to win it all. What are your thoughts on that futures ticket and, of course, this game?
Oh, there's no doubt about it. Your futures ticket has a lot of value because with Houston, you know that this is going to be one of the best coached teams in all of college basketball. They get better and better as the season goes along, and they're number one in one category in college basketball. Fewest turnovers on a per possession basis. That's going to be big in neutral court games moving forward. That said, I did take 5.5 here with Arizona, mainly because the one concern that I currently have with Houston is that they are giving teams a lot of second and third chances. They're currently outside the top 120 in terms of defensive rebound percentage. Teams are grabbing over 27.5% of their misses as an offensive rebound. And the forte of this Arizona team is down low. You got Montevideo Krivas along with Toby Awaka, who've been able to combine for about 18 rebounds per game. It is a Houston bunch that I just feel like they need to have Milo Zuzan be a little bit more featured because they've been going with Kingston Fleming, so Manuel Sharp a little bit more. And the more Uzan that you get in the game, I feel like the better this team has been. And for Arizona, they're not a team that takes a lot of threes, but when they need to make threes, they shoot about 35.5% from three with Jaden Bradley and company. And it's an Arizona team that has been one of the most stout defensive teams in all of college basketball. this total of 141.5, I set mine at a 142. You got much better value overnight. You always want to be taking a look at these Saturday games when they have like a big time game like Arizona versus Houston, because a lot of places will post these up like Thursday night, and that total was in the high 130s. So it's gone up a little bit too far for me, but that said, on the overnight that we were getting a little bit before, I thought you had good value. But with Arizona, I did set this line at 2, so you're at 5.5, willing to take those points.
Milos Uzan and cowbell. Greg, two things that I just absolutely need more of in my life. Let's look at the big tilt. It could be a title tilt in 6 weeks. Michigan, Duke. I didn't see it in your write-up unless I missed it, because there are a lot of games in there. What are your thoughts on the 2.5 points? I think Michigan could win this game by damn near double digits. I need to know what you think, Hoops.
I set my number at a 2.5, so that's a big reason why I did not take a shot here yet. I'm right now seeing where this goes overnight. If we can get to like a 3.5, I'd be willing to take the points with Duke. If we could get down to like a 1.5, 2, I would be willing to take a shot on Michigan. So that's a little bit more of an overnight play. What I did take was the opening total of 148 after the over, though, mainly because this is a Michigan team that they absolutely gun it. They're a top 20 team in terms of total possessions per game. And if you think that this is going to be a game that's going to be super close, that's going to be landing relatively close to the spread, you're supposed to be able to push you over as well. And both of these teams execute really well down low. These are two teams that rank in the top 5 in the country with their 2-point shooting percentage. Neither team is amazing with their 3-point shooting, but Michigan has risen up into the top 75. Last few games, they've really been able to find it with guys like Nobari Burnett, Elliot Kadu being able to shoot it well from 3. If I had to play it right now, I would lean a little bit more to laying 2.5 with Michigan rather than taking 2.5 with Duke. That said, I'm going to be waiting to see where this lands in the AM and then betting that accordingly to go along with the over that I snagged.
Greg, I've got to ask you about a team that's looking to repeat. Todd Golden's Gators. I love this squad. I mentioned my Houston futures ticket. I bit some on the Gators, 15-1. I mean, how could you not, the way that they're rearing into form right now? They're laying a baker's dozen in Oxford at Ole Miss. Now, I have a rule, Greg. I don't lay it with big road favorites in that noon Eastern early window. So often it blows up in your face if you do. This is an exception for me. I did lay it. What are your thoughts on this spread?
The only reason why I can't lay it with Florida is that I just need to see them be able to put it together a little bit more with the 3-point shooting. They're outside the top 320 with that 3-point shooting percentage. And Chris Beard's teams just have a weird way of coming up big in these sorts of spots as well. For Ole Miss, they're going to get absolutely dump trucked on the glass. This Ole Miss team is outside the top 200 with regards to rebound percentage. Florida's number 1 with that regard. Ruben Chinyelu, 11.5 points, 12 rebounds per game. You know what you're going to be able to get on these guys like Thomas Condon, Thomas Hahn Company. So they're going to be able to win that battle down low. I just need to see a little bit more from Florida in terms of that backcourt. And additionally for Ole Miss, the one thing that they do a nice job of is protecting the ball. They're a top 25 team in terms of fewest turnovers on a per possession basis. So I think that that's going to be just enough for them to remain lively. And with that total of 151, I'd be looking a little bit more at the over because I do think that you can get some late game fouls. And for Florida, they are doing a great job with regards to their interior offense as well. So I did have to take the points here with Ole Miss just because I do think that the way that they protect the ball in Florida, not being able to make those threes, just makes it a little bit tough to be able to cover this big of a number.
All right, a little friendly competition between Greg and I. The Gators look to repeat. How about the last team that did repeat? The UConn Huskies taking on Villanova, a team that's got a couple titles in their own right in the last decade plus. What do you make of this Big East throwdown?
I just don't think that Dan Hurley is going to let his team lose back-to-back games. Like, this is a guy that is the ultimate coach in terms of getting his team fired up. Now, he'll probably get into the referees a little bit as well. So the referees are going to be fired up along with his team. But that said, I was willing to lay with UConn. I was able to grab a 1.5 here at 2.5. Wouldn't want to go past it, but I still think that you got value here because I think that this game is going to become an almighty slog. Both of these teams are outside the top 250 in terms of total possessions per game. And UConn, in games played away from them, teams shoot 29.1% from three-point range against them. That is a top 10 mark in all of college basketball. They're also really good down low with having Terrace Reed give you 8+ rebounds per game. And while Duke Brennan is really good on the boards for Villanova, he gives you about 10.5 rebounds per game. One of just two guys on the roster that gives you over 4 rebounds per game. And Bryce Lindsey, who was that top scorer to begin the season for Villanova, he's really had a massive drop-off as well. That's been causing this Villanova team to become a little bit more defense-oriented. And the defense has been rock solid, but at home they do allow opponents to shoot over 35% from three-point range. I do think that UConn is going to be able to do the little things with Alex Karaban and company to get the job done. So like the under, and I like UConn here laying the small number.
Greg, phenomenal stuff as always. We have about a minute left. There's a smaller game from, frankly, a mid-major conference that I love to play that I'm always intrigued by. It's out in the CAA, the Coastal Athletic Association, formerly the Colonial Athletic Association. UNC Wilmington, the Seahawks. Why are they not bigger favorites against Campbell? Is there something I'm missing there? What are your thoughts on this game?
I'm confused as well. I set this line at 5.5. I was willing to lay it with UNC Wilmington. Just such a complete team. A top 30 team with regards to defensive rebound percentage, and typically teams that are good on glass and give it up from three. Not these guys. 11th in the country in terms of opponents' three-point shooting percentage. Campbell's not even a good offense. Like, this Campbell team is outside the top 200 with their three-point shooting percentage. They're 260th in terms of turnovers on a per-possession basis as well. I will say Wilmington, they only shoot about 70% of the free throw line. That could be a little bit of an issue towards back half of the game. Campbell, not necessarily a great free throw shooting team as well, though. With Campbell, they do an okay job in terms of grabbing second and third chances, but with everything that you've got down low for Wilmington, I think they get the job done, laid the number, and took a shot on that under.
Nothing he can't do. He could take you from Spokane to Stetson. He's Greg Hoops Peterson, breaking it down with us here on Cashing Out. Greg, as always, thanks, my man.
Always appreciate you, and might not want a shot out here on Stetson on Saturday.
The college hoops continues. On the other side, it's Cashing Out. I'm Joe Serralo.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $40 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $18 a month, a savings of nearly $300 a year.
Whether you need a $100,000 policy or a $10 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance. In a hurry? Don't worry. With SelectQuote, you can get up to $2 million in instant, affordable, same-day coverage with no medical exam.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-637-9116. That's 1-800-637-9116. Or go to SelectQuote.com. That's 1.
5 Points Bank has been proudly serving the Tri-City area for decades, and we are continuously finding ways to make your banking experience easy and enjoyable. We offer the best of both worlds with kind and welcoming employees in the bank while creating a strong online presence to accommodate your busy lifestyle. Our innovative technology adds layers of security while being easily accessible to all age groups. Stop into the Better Bank to learn more today.
If you're planning to build a new home or add an addition to your existing one, trust the experts at Gangwish Construction. From general contracting, basement pouring, to bathroom remodeling, concrete work, and deck building, they handle it all with precision and care. They take pride in doing the job right the first time, every time. Contact Jeff today at 402-460-0013 and experience quality craftsmanship with Gangwish Construction.
Keep it here on Extreme Sports.
Hits it to right field. Brennan is back. He's at the wall, and we are tied.
Your all-access pass to nonstop sports talk and live play-by-play coverage.
You guys are the number one sports station because you make the phones light up.
Imagine starting your day with a computer glitch that leaves you feeling stuck, frustrated, and unable to get your work done. You have 1,000,001 things to get done today, and waiting for the tech issue to solve itself isn't one of them. It's time to let Hamilton handle the tech so you don't have to. We help businesses across the state spend more time on what they do best and less time frustrated with office technology. As the official business IT partner of the Huskers, we're focused on providing custom solutions that set you up for success now and in the future. Connect with us today at HamiltonIsBusiness.com. A business's phone is the lifeline to its customers and potential clients. That's why it's so important that you can take calls seamlessly from anywhere, whether you're on the road or in the office. Hamilton Business Technologies can help ensure your phone rings wherever you are. We can equip your headquarters and any of its locations with the right tools for smooth, professional call handling. As the official business IT partner of the Huskers, we know how to keep Nebraska businesses connected. Learn more at HamiltonIsBusiness.com.
Did you know that one of the most important financial protections that you can provide for your family is to have a will? Stellick Law Firm in Grand Island can help you provide and make your last wishes known when your family is at its most vulnerable time. Call Stellick Law Firm today to get your estate plan completed. Stellick Law Firm is located in Grand Island, and you may call us at 308-675-4035 to get your estate plan started today. Stellick Law Firm. Let us be your voice.
VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Welcome back to Cashing Out here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Back here on Cashing Out on a Friday night with me, Joe Serralo, and the only thing better than spending your Friday night with one Serralo is spending it with two Serralos. So let's get to it on the Progressive Guest Line. It is time for your favorite segment, Father Knows Bets, with my dad, George Serralo, joining the show. Pops, I know you were locked into that Merrimack game. First off, thank you. I heard you canceled the date to be here tonight. We appreciate that, not just myself, but all the viewers as well. What were your thoughts on that Merrimack Sienna sweat out we just lived through?
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. First off, I got a couple of bumblers who are a little upset with you, but don't worry about that because Merrimack has the nerve to cover beating a team by 7 points in overtime, -3.5. I thought you were dead in the water. And it was a shame because the Redhawks in Miami, Ohio are pulling away. What a great pullout. But right now, you're on a streak. You're on a rocket ship. I got to tell you a quick story. I ran into an old friend of mine, my buddy in the back of the candy store that I used to play with. Okay? And I told him what you were doing and the streak you were on. He goes, "Oh, what's your boy's first name?" I said, Nostra friggin' Damas. That's his name. He's predicting everything right now.
That's what it's feeling like lately on this hot streak.
Yeah, 6-0 on the Super Bowl. Still, the Travion Henderson prop is still the most incredible. It takes him 2 receptions to get to over a half yard. Okay, and then 3-0 last week when I go 3-2. I was 5-2 my last 2 visits ago, 3-2 last visit, and I feel like a slacker.
Well, what does that make you? 8-4 your last 12. We've got 6 on the docket here. Let's see if we can continue. Let's dive in. Florida, Ole Miss, bright and early. You know, I have a rule, and I know I've shared this rule with you. I don't like road favorites in that noon Eastern window. This might be an exception to the rule. What are your thoughts here with the Gators and the Rebels?
Well, you're 1,000% correct on that. But right now, those Gators, they're hot as hell. Okay? As an away favorite, they're 5-1. Yeah. As a conference favorite, they're 9-4. Ole Miss right now is just old. Home dog, Ole Miss 0-3. Conference 6-7. All these numbers, by the way, are against the spread. That's all I concern myself with. At home, they are 3-9 against the spread. Florida has covered 9 of their last 12. Ole Miss has not covered 4 of their last 5. They've covered 1 game their last 5. You got to go with those hot Gators. They control the boards. They're shooting. Boogie Flan, hot as hell. I mean, the Gators, I hate laying this kind of wood. You know me.
Yeah.
But there's no doubt.
I know.
It's 13.5. You got to go with the Gators.
You know, it's crazy because you hate laying double-digit favorites. I know your motto that you've instilled in me is when in doubt, take the points. But you look at this Saturday card, and there's a couple spots where it's like, do we just have to lay it? Take us to Lawrence, Kansas, the Jayhawks, the Cincinnati Bearcats. Is this another spot where you just have no choice but to lay it?
Again, Kansas in conference covers against the spread. Their record's 9-4. As a home favorite, they're 6-3. As a favorite, Kansas is 12-5. Cincinnati as an underdog, 3-5. In conference, 6-7. I mean, you know, after the whooping that Kansas took, Self is now gone public with his doubts on Peterson. We can get into that later if you wish. You know how I feel. Okay? So my thought is Peterson needs to come out tomorrow and put up a 40 burger.
Yeah, man. I like that thought process.
Yeah. You know?
Absolutely. Let's stay right there in the Big 12 because we were talking about Florida. This is a team you and I are both high on. I said it right here on VSiN a week ago. I've got the Gators 15-1 to win the national championship in pocket. I also, earlier this week, took a flyer on one other team to win it all. Now, I want to clarify, the Michigan Wolverines are the rightful favorites. I just don't like it at 3-1. I don't see any value there. But the other team, in addition to Michigan and Florida, that I see value with, the Houston Cougars. I got them at plus 850. They are laying 4.5 at home to Arizona. Which side are you on there in that Big 12 tilt?
Well, Joe, you know how we both feel about Cougars. We think nothing wrong with a good Cougar, right?
Listed under hobbies of mine. Absolutely.
Yeah. So against Iowa State Monday night, the Cougars are up 10 points at the 7-minute mark. And then I guess someone called the Houston Cougar bat line and said one of the players on the court's girlfriend was pregnant because all of a sudden there's no offense. They scurry off the court and they end up losing the game by 3. And I go 3-2 instead of 4-1 because of the hook. You know how
and I went 3-0 because I had Iowa State. Just saying.
Just because you're on a streak that's unheard of right now. You're riding Haley's Comet. Nothing can stop you. Okay? So, the Cougars, minus 4.5. Home favorite, 8-5. Conference, 8-5. Again, all these numbers I'm throwing out are against the spread. Arizona as an underdog, 2-0. As an away team, 4-3. As a conference player, 7-6. Okay? But here's the factor that makes me go Cougars minus 4.5. No Pete. 14 points and 5 rebounds out of Dodge. And let's face it, the Wildcats, last couple of games, they don't look so dangerous, do they? Got to go with the Cougars at home. Sampson on the rebound.
Tommy Lloyd has never made it past the Sweet 16. You know, I have some serious doubts about this Arizona team. Even when they were ranked number 1 a week ago, I was not fully bought in for them come March. And now with this little losing streak that they're on, 2 out of their last 3, I am extra not bought in. I like this Houston team a lot. I don't know if I can get there on laying that number, but obviously I've got confidence in Kelvin Sampson, a guy who we both absolutely love, and his team. I mean, if they had Kingston Fleming a year ago, Houston's the reigning national championship team, not Florida. You know, the way that they blew that game was unfortunate. Fleming gives a team that's identity on an annual basis is defense first. He gives them offense his freshman year to the tune of 39% from deep. It is a beautiful thing to watch. Let's stay in the state of Texas, but go mid-major to the Southland Conference. Stephen F. Austin has been a cash cow this year. I'm a little hesitant to lay 13.5 with them against Nichols because while they've been covering machines as double-digit favorites, they are just 2-2 against the spread. Final minute 30 of the segment here. What's your call on Stephen F. Austin against Nichols?
Just like I told you when you were a little kid, son, don't be afraid. The books are daring us. Stephen Austin, 20-5 against the number. In conference, 15-3. Home favorite, 8-2. 5 of the last 6. Nichols, 11-15 against the spread. Conference 9-9. Away dog 7-7. Covered 3 of the last 11. Stephen Austin minus 13.5. Let's go.
I love it. Laying it with the Lumberjacks, the most profitable team in college basketball this season. Pops, you got 30 seconds if you want to address this Utah-UCF Big 12 matchup as well with a home dog in the Utes.
Yeah, well, you got to take the Utes plus 1.5. Underdogs 12-4. Home dog 3-1. Conference 9-4. UCF away 3-4. As a favorite 4-8. You got to take the Utes. Your Honor, the Utes plus 1.5.
I'm glad you said it because if you didn't, I was going to go there. From Joe Pesci to George Serralo, take the Utes, Your Honor. Great stuff, Pops. Appreciate the time. Thanks for hopping on.
Have a great night. Keep up the good work.
That's George Serralo. Father knows bets, and straight out of my cousin Vinny, he's rocking with the Utes, Your Honor. It's Kansas laying the points. Florida, Stephen F. Austin, all minus the points. Houston at home. East, Texas A&M. He didn't get to that one. Another Southland Conference matchup there. And then the home dogs, the Utah Utes. Cashing out continues with me, Joe Serralo, up next. A lot of best bets on Saturday to get to.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-960-33...
Here's a look at your weather forecast, powered by weatherology.com. Chance for snow tonight, otherwise cloudy skies expected. Lows around 15, winds out of the northwest, around 5 miles per hour. 38 tomorrow, cloudy skies. Tomorrow night, lows dip down to about 14. Low 30s, Sunday, turning warmer on Monday with highs in the upper 30s. A dusting of snow tonight. And that's your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Frobley. Currently, it's 20 degrees.
Experience the Landmark difference with the next level of dealer support. Landmark, your local John Deere dealer, continually works to have parts on hand the first time you walk in the door. Our internal route system means we can get the parts to you typically same or next day to keep you up and running. At Landmark, we understand time is money. Get more uptime with our after-hours parts and service support on the phone or in the field. Stop by your local Landmark today to experience the Landmark difference.
Extreme Sports, the ultimate destination for sports enthusiasts.
This is the greatest record in the history of sports.
Broadcasting live 24/7.
Just have some fun out here, and enjoy the journey of all this, of trying to get 16 wins and going after a gold trophy.
We give the people what they want.
And I am a huge sports fan. I love
sports.
Have you or a loved one been injured in a motor vehicle accident? Hi, I'm Mitch Stellick from Stellick Law Firm in Grand Island, and we specialize in personal injury law. Let Stellick Law Firm assist you in making sure that you and your family are taken care of following a motor vehicle accident. Call us today at 308-675-4035 to schedule your appointment. Let us be your voice.
Cybersecurity is a fundamental component of today's business operations. It's not just an add-on, it's essential for business protection. At Hamilton Business Technologies, we know that cyber threats are always changing and require constant vigilance. That's why our team delivers real-time threat monitoring and advanced security protocols to safeguard your data and reputation. As the official business IT partner of the Huskers, we put security at the forefront of your success. Cybersecurity is business. Hamilton is business. Connect with us at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
5 Points Bank has been your hometown bank for over 40 years, and now you can take us wherever you go. Mobile Deposit allows you to deposit checks from your smartphone or tablet with our free business banking app. And never pay for an ATM charge again with our MoneyPass app. It maps out ATMs near you that won't charge a fee because of its partnership with 5 Points Bank. We're here to serve you in person and online, and that's why we're the better bank.
Sports Betting Network.
Welcome back to Cashing Out here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
What a show it's been. Cashing Out with me, Joe Serralo, continues, getting ready to really gear you up for a hectic Saturday in college hoops. About 150 games going to get underway in a matter of hours. Friday's slate, it was action-packed. It wasn't as intense, certainly not as heavy as Saturday's slate. Gave out one bet. It was a parlay. 2 legs, nice and simple. Merrimack minus 3.5. Miami of Ohio, the undefeated Redhawks. What a sentence. What a time to be alive. Gave them out money line, even though they ended up covering the number. It was in doubt with about 7 minutes to go. And then the Redhawks pulled away for yet another cover. They're 10-4 against the spread in conference play. They're one of the most profitable teams in the nation this season. We get home on our plus 135 parlay, our lone bet for Friday. And that right there is the difference between me and your boyfriend. I hit my parlays. He probably doesn't. And that's why I'm here doing Cashing Out with Joe Serralo, a special edition, a reunion edition, we can call it, of my old show here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. We've got bets for Saturday to give out, a couple best bets, and then some games that I'm going to dive a little deeper into, but that have certainly caught my attention and are on my radar. But before we dive into all the Saturday fun, folks, college basketball is rolling and baseball season is here. Those are two of my expertises, college hoops and Major League Baseball. That means now is the perfect time to bet smarter with a VSiN Pro subscription. Sign up today. You'll get daily best bets from VSiN hosts and guests, real-time DraftKings and Circa betting splits, AI-powered prop tools and matchup analysis, 24/7 video, and full show replays on the VSiN Watch app, plus our new MLB betting guide. Inside the guide, does money buy championships? We break it down. You'll get detailed team previews, a stats glossary, and key analytics to know, sharp betting insights from VSiN Pro experts, and a player's perspective from former MLB pitcher and VSiN host Jensen Lewis. Start today for just $9.99 or save 50% off with an annual subscription. Go to VSiN.com/subscribe. That's VSIN.com/subscribe. As promised, we have got a locked and loaded slate of games Saturday in college hoops, a couple top 10 tilts, some potential Final Four, and maybe even Championship Monday previews. Let's dive in. It's time for the VSiN Daily Morning Bets. I love it. A familiar face, a familiar voice on the VSiN Daily Morning Bets. I am stoked for this Saturday in college hoops, and we are kicking things off, or in this case, tipping things off bright and early with an SEC showdown in Oxford, Mississippi. Now, folks, if you know me and you follow me at the Joe Serralo on Twitter, it's where you get my best bets most of the time. You know I've got a rule, and I like to stay away from road favorites in that early window, that noon Eastern window on Saturdays. I don't like playing road chalk in those spots. This is an exception to the rule. And it's because the team taking on the Ole Miss Rebels is a team I've got in pocket 15-1 to repeat as national champs. And that is Todd Golden's Florida Gators. I laid 12.5 with them early Friday morning. It is now a flat baker's dozen, and I wouldn't shy away from that either. I think the Gators can go to Oxford and run the Rebels out of their own gym to the point of a 20-point victory. Now, look, what's Florida's weakness? 3-point shooting, right? We know it. But this team has the most formidable front court in the country, maybe save for the Michigan Wolverines. And what does Florida do even if they don't hit their threes? They attack the offensive glass. I'm expecting second chance opportunities against an Ole Miss team that struggles to rebound. I'm expecting Florida to go wire to wire in this one. They have all the makings of a team that could repeat in today's modern NIL era. They've got a returning front court. Thomas Houck from sixth man to superstar at the small forward position. Alex Condon and Ruben Chinyelu down low, giving them 25 points and 20 boards a game. They're ferocious defensively, as balanced as they get when you look at offensive rating and defensive rating. The guards are a mix of returning guys, transfer portal guys, great recruiting by Todd Golden, but that front court is so solidified, all returning, the minutes up, the production up. I love me these Florida Gators. So yes, I would lay a baker's dozen with them. I already laid 12.5. Let's go to our nation's capital for the next one. You want to talk about formidable front courts? How about the Michigan Wolverines? They're taking on Duke. It's on a neutral site where Michigan 3-1 this year against the number on neutral courts. Duke 2-2 against the spread on a neutral. And this game is going to be a late March, early April preview. Cam Boozer, one of the best players in the country, a guy who's a surefire top 5 pick in the NBA draft next spring or summer. He's going up against the Michigan front court that I believe is going to neutralize him. The problem with Duke is depth, and they lack it. They've got the star power. They're going to have the best player on the court in Cam Boozer. But what does Boozer do against a front court that consists of the 7'3" shot blocker in Ade Mara, Morez Johnson Jr., who's tough as nails, or Yexa Lendeberg, the leading scorer on the team? I mean, this team has 3 bigs that can on any given night run out a 20-point double-double and throw in 3 to 5 blocks for good measure. They average almost 7 blocks per game. It's a bit of a one-man show in Durham for Duke. The Blue Devils have just 3 players averaging 9 or more points per game. Michigan doubles that. They've got 6. They had 6 in double figures in that win in West Lafayette against Purdue the other night. I don't view this as a come-down spot. If anything, I viewed that game as a potential look-ahead spot, and I stayed away from the Wolverines there. I think that they are so primed and ready to go in our nation's capital. How about Michigan in their last 5 games? They're number 1 in net rating. They're number 1 in offensive rating, number 3 in offensive rebound percentage, grabbing the board on 43% of their missed shots. Number 14 in effective field goal percentage, which of course takes into account 3-point shooting and the differentiating, points there between 3s and 2s. And they're number 8 in opponent effective field goal percentage. Duke's a phenomenal team. I can't take anything away from the Blue Devils. That schedule I can take away from. Now, they tried to play a tough non-con schedule. To their credit, they did. The ACC is nowhere near as strong as the Big Ten. Michigan's had tune-up after tune-up for this tilt. Duke has not. Duke blew a big lead to their biggest rival in North Carolina. And sure, they respond by running Pittsburgh out of the gym and St. Mary's School for the Blind out of the gym. I don't think the Blue Devils are ready for the Michigan Wolverines. I think 2.5, maybe a gift from the gambling gods, and I'm going to lay it with Dusty May's Michigan squad. Couple other notable games that I can't say I'm firing on with certainty yet, but I am certainly going to watch them. And as game time nears, keep an eye on my Twitter at @VJoeSoralo because I might be playing them. How about North Dakota in the Summit League catching 6.5 points on the road, albeit, but they are at South Dakota State. North Dakota having a much better season than the Jackrabbits. 10-4 straight up in conference play, 10-4 against the spread in conference play. South Dakota State just 5-8 straight up in conference play. I don't like them laying a touchdown at home to the Bison. North Dakota State plus 6.5 is a strong lean. I will be monitoring, not an official play yet. In the Summit League as well, the St. Thomas Tommies. We love it, right? I'm a St. Bonaventure Bonnie. I grew up rooting for the St. John's Johnnies, even though they're officially called the Red Storm. The St. Thomas Tommies are laying 4.5 at Denver. It's a very mediocre Denver team. St. Thomas, they didn't do the right thing by me against Omaha, had a big lead in the second half, blew it, gave up 98 points in that one. We know they could score. They scored 94 in that loss. If they put up 90 again, they're not losing. And then Northern Iowa. This is a team that's just been hot as hell. They're hosting Southern Illinois. Northern Iowa, 10-7 straight up in conference play, but all their damage has been done last 5 games. The Panthers are as hot as they get, so I am monitoring those mid-major contests on Saturday. And that'll do it for the VSiN Daily Morning Bets. That'll also do it for another fun, exciting, high-energy edition of Cashing Out with Joe Soralo. Stop me if you heard that before. But the great content at VSiN never ends. The Moose going to be with you at 9 a.m. Eastern for the VSiN Weekend Morning Line, followed by Ready, Set, Bet with Mike Somich and Matt Brown, and then a whole lot of live bet Saturday. Great college hoops, great Saturday lined up for you on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. I'm Joe Soralo. Let's do it again soon.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code TURBO to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code TURBO for a 25 cents per gallon.
From Feature Story News in San Francisco, I'm Ira Spitzer with a look back at some of the week's top stories. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, formerly known as Prince Andrew of the British royal family, was arrested on suspicion of misconduct in public office. It relates to his time as trade envoy and the alleged sharing of confidential material with the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. He has not been charged and has long denied any wrongdoing. FSN's Ollie Barrett has more from London.
What police are further saying is that this is part of an investigation now, they confirm. The reason that is significant is that previously Thames Valley Police had simply said they were assessing claims that had been made to them about the potential of misconduct in a public office. They've now confirmed a formal investigation is underway and an arrest has been made. They say the arrest was made on suspicion of misconduct in public office, and they say they're also carrying out searches at addresses in Berkshire and Norfolk.
The U.S. Supreme Court ruled that President Trump's sweeping tariffs on global trading partners are illegal. In a 6-3 ruling, the court determined that the tariffs didn't have the proper authorization from Congress. FSN's Nick Harper has more from Washington.
This ruling is a tremendous blow for the US president and a rare rebuke of his presidential powers. 6 out of the 9 justices saying that they did not believe he had the legal authority to impose tariffs, instead saying that he must have congressional authorization. They said that he had tried to assert extraordinary power to unilaterally impose tariffs of unlimited amount, duration and scope. He has reacted by calling the ruling a disgrace, but also saying he has a backup plan. It is likely the White House will look for other ways to reimpose these tariffs.
India joined the U.S.-led AI infrastructure initiative called Pax Silica, which is widely seen as a countermeasure to China's dominance over the supply of key materials used in the industry. It came as top U.S. companies pledged to invest billions of dollars in India during an AI Impact Summit. FSN's Ishan Garg has more from New Delhi.
India joined the Pax Silica initiative on the sidelines of the AI Impact Summit, ending speculation over whether trade tensions were getting in the way of broader cooperation between Washington and New Delhi. According to the U.S. State Department, Pax Silica is aimed at bringing friendly countries together to reduce what it calls coercive dependencies. The initiative was launched in December last year with countries including the UK, Australia, South Korea and the UAE as its first few members, with India pitching itself as a key AI